How are we all doing? It's been a while since we've done a signal hunt. Sadly, the clouds have rolled in. I'm sure we'll be back on with a Skywatch tomorrow. But until then, yeah, we're back to this live alien radio signal hunt. So if you've seen the film Contact, or the recent TV series on Apple TV there called Pluribus, it's that sort of thing. We're listening out on what is called the hydrogen line, and that is the channel on the radio dial where scientists theorise that if ET is out there, this is where they're most likely to put the message. And there have been some interesting signals on this frequency over the years, most notably the WOW signal, but many, many more indeed. So do say hello, let us know where you're all watching from tonight, and let's settle in and hope to see if we get a signal. Now, if we are lucky enough, it will only be on screen for between 30 to 90 seconds. That is with the speed of the rotation of Earth. There, you imagine it. The dish is pointing up to the night sky, the Earth is rotating, so that dish is sweeping across the night sky. They're passing over all those various stars and their planets. So yeah, if we pass over the right star at the right time that is inhabited by alien life, they're sending us a signal, it'll be just 30 to 90 seconds that we'd expect to see that spike on the screen. So keep your eyes peeled and let's see what we're doing there. Who have we got in already tonight there? Barrett, you're first in. How are you today? Stephen's in there. Feeling better. Thank you. I am in some ways. I am pretty so mentally I can't imagine I'm going to be much better tonight, guys. We'll see how we go there. Rib is in too. How are we there? And where Robbie is in there as well, live from Uranus. Grandmaster, if only we could. Leon as well there. Good to see you too. Leandro, sorry, and Pancake there. You think, oh, it's the first audio stream for you? God, yeah, because you've been with us a while. It's been so long since we've done an alien radio signal hunt, so this is going to be the first one for many of you guys. So it is, again, it's live investigation like we're doing with our Skywatches, but it's a little bit less accurate, a little bit less active there. So it is a right place, right time sort of thing. These signals don't happen all of the time, but if we do get them, they are highly, highly valuable. It's kind of like winning the lottery there. It used to be the case that these things would be once every 10 years, if we were lucky, once every decade, science would detect an anomalous signal. Then it was kind of, every decade. Then every couple of years. Now it is kind of all the time. And it is, I think, where our equipment is getting more sensitive, we're able to detect more and more and more of these. There's been a hell of a lot of them throughout the time, and that is what we want to see tonight. A nice big ridge right on the middle of the screen, because that is the hydrogen line right there. And it's named the hydrogen line because it is the frequency that hydrogen naturally emits a radio signal, and that is the most abundant element in our galaxy. So it gives our radio astronomers, their scientists, a good baseline for what might be going on. That is why they're always monitoring this frequency, for those reasons. But that is also because they're monitoring it. Alien scientists would likely be doing the same if they're aware of radio. And therefore, if you want a message heard, this is the place they do think to look there. Forward to seeing how they run. Well, we'll have to see. I mean, this is mostly it. We're just listening out. And the cool thing as well, if I turn the music down, you hear that in the background. That is the cosmic microwave background there, the sounds of the early universe. So we are actually listening to the signals coming in on that frequency. We're not getting a clear alien signal just yet, but it is quite cool to think we're listening to just after the Big Bang there. Lethal coming in with the gifts there, and Blue Nose, and My Opinion. How are you guys doing? Good to see you all in there. Thanks for that. Lethal there. And Bex Yorkshire, how are you tonight? Weather has been good. It has been. We have had a ridiculously good run, I think, with weather. Over the winter, we had, I think it's like 52 days or 56 days of solid cloud coverage. So we had a big block on the calendar of these. It was testing my patience. And now we've had the equivalent, probably actually longer, of clear skies. So it's looking pretty consistent. And Master there, trying to tune into the Martian Smooth Radio. It'd just be another heart station, wouldn't it? Heart Mars. How you doing, Carl? How you feeling? I'm all right. I'm a bit, when you're just a bit out of it like that. Yeah. So we'll see how I come along with the chat. We'll see how it goes there. And Leandro there. What frequency is it? So it's 1.420 something. So it's the hydrogen line. So it's right down the low end. So if you, I think your FM and your AM radio stations, they're all at the high end. But remember the old dial that you'd tune into manually, and the old line would go across there either in your car or at home. It's the same dial, but it's just 20 foot long compared to what you get on the car. Now, us as humans, we divide up the dial, all of the different channels for different usage. So some of them is our entertainment radio shows. Some of them's for ground to satellite communication. There's, military bands, police and helicopter, radio... aircraft bands, marine bands, they all divide it up so nobody kind of gets, treads on each other's toes, those sorts of things there. But right the way down here, down the low end, this particular frequency is unique because it is reserved for listening only. Because again, it's so useful for radio astronomy, for telling us about the universe and what might be going on. Yeah, it is kept for listening only, so no technology is allowed to transmit on it there, and that helps us. So not only is it the place where we think aliens most like to put the message, but also it's the place with least interference there. So we still can get some interference, but that's why we have to filter it all out. But we want to see a nice big ridge. At the minute, we're just seeing that nice little background. There is, ever so slightly, if I can get my cursor on it, see around here, can't see the spike coming up there to there. Well, it's going orange. Right, so that is... it's having a bit of a sulk. That is basically a little bit of electronic interference by the looks of it. So another clue for if we are getting that signal is how long it is on the screen for. Between 30 to 90 seconds. It's distance away. It's other star distance away. If it's really, really quick, then it's probably a passing satellite or a plane. If it's there for a long time, then it probably is with us here in the room. With the Earth's rotation, things in the room are going to be the same, aren't they? There. Liberty, rain where you are. We haven't quite got rain yet, but we have got quite thick cloud coverage. So at least it's going to be cooler, though. Tradette, how are we doing? Good to see you there. How does one apply to be a mod? Good question. Kate, you have to talk to Kate when she's in. Kate handles all of those for us there, so I'm sure we'll be very grateful to have you all in for that one there. 2.4, so we're a little bit down lower. We're at 1.420 there, and my opinion, a weird atmosphere out there tonight there, like the quiet before the storm. There is that weird, and you wonder, don't you, what is it that we're picking up on as humans when we sense that? Is it the air pressure? Is it, electrical charge in the air? What is it that tells us that there? Loch Lomond, how are we doing there? And Pancake there. It's cool to be able to listen to something like that, and imagine showing this to folks years ago. There are so many interesting things about radio. Like the language of the universe is radio. So it's not, we've adapted it as technology to make for communication, but that is the natural language of the universe. So partly things we have to check out and filter out are these organic radio signals. You can tune into planets, stars, the early universe there. That is the language. Space screams in radio. And we're hopefully trying to hear the aliens poking out from behind that one there. Harko, how are you doing? Janie as well, coming in with the gifts, guys. Thank you for that. And it's Cats for Life. How are you there? Thank you for the follows. Where are you joining us from tonight? So guys, do say hello. Let us know where you're all watching from. We'll read through your messages in the chat slowly, but it's alien radio signal hunt time tonight, and we're listening out on the hydrogen line. That is the channel on the radio dial where scientists theorise we are most likely to hear a message from ET. It's where the WOW signal was heard. I'm sure you've all heard of that one, but many more since then. So yeah, do say hello, ask your questions away there, and if you've had an experience with the phenomena, we'd love to hear about that whilst we're waiting for the action to appear on screen. But make sure you're following and subscribe, because we're on pretty much every night. Clear skies, it's the UFO UAP Skywatch, and we have had a solid run of wonderfully clear nights, and we have seen so many interesting things recently. I'm sure we'll be back tomorrow with those later on there. And then the moon is up, it looks like that. We see all the craters, all the details, and all the weird stuff. So if you're following and subscribed, you should get those notifications when we go live. Inspector Morse is in. Good to see you there. Kate is in as well there. And Stephen there. Hello to everybody just showing up there. Hopefully everybody is having a good night or day. Exactly. Sunday night, just chilling out. In fact, it kind of works a little bit better. We used to do SETI Sundays, trying to put in a regular one for doing this. And I can't stick to a routine, but it is kind of a nice way to just chill out a little bit. There, everybody sharing your stories and just looking at the screen. Again, it's going to be a right place, right time sort of thing as we're sweeping the night sky. Are we passing over at the right time a star with a planet that's inhabited by life that is choosing to send us a signal? Because it's not just the case that, we pass over a star with a planet and they've just got, like us, they've got their television, their radio. We're very, very unlikely to be able to pick up those sorts of signals because they're quite low powered. To actually have a dish that's sensitive enough to pick those up, you probably need like a planet-sized dish, really, at these sorts of distances. But what we are listening out for is this conscious message there, a civilization choosing to send the "hello, is anybody else there out there" message to an unknown recipient, or maybe many of them there. And we do think we've detected those over the years, but they're just hard to confirm there. Cloudy now till Saturday. It says that. It said cloudy a few times, and it's been alright. So I'm hoping we're still going to have a few opportunities for a skywatch, but I'm definitely going to make the most of it being a little bit cooler there. Tuned in to listen while you make a crystal curtain. Lucy, that sounds really interesting there. Crystal curtain. Tell me more. You got to explain what that is. There, Janie, how are you? Good to see you there. Everyone remember the Ringmakers of Saturn by Norm Bergram? Part of that was discussing the frequencies generated by Saturn's rings. I haven't, but you're totally right there. Like, the space screams in radio. You know, you can tune into a hell of a lot of things. You know, radio astronomy. I mean, they obviously do astronomy with the visual light, with your telescopes. You're seeing what's out there if it's emitting, you know, visual light. But that you can also listen and hear. And it's a very similar sort of practice there. Vicky is into. How are you doing today? Literally just before I came on, I double checked and I just saw the things on the clips. I didn't have proper to go through it, but thank you. That sounds really, really cool. So appreciate that. And if there's a is it the same frequency they used in the movie Contact? I think it is, actually. I think it is. So this is the frequency, because you think of it this way, you know, out of the channels on the radio dial, there are thousands of frequencies, you know, thousands of these channels. So whereabouts is ET most likely to send a message? If they're like humans, that's going to be related to its purpose. You know, some frequencies are better at receiving and sending some signals over distance, you know, all of that sort of stuff. But if you're purposely putting out the hello, is anybody else out there message, what is the channel that is going to be monitored the most? And that we think it's going to be this. It's going to be the hydrogen line. So this is the best place to put that message because it has that consistent purpose for radio astronomy. And this is also the place you have most eyes and ears are monitoring it. Definitely true for us, and if ET knows about radio, we definitely think it would be. But we say the hello is anybody else out there message. The real a recent paper came out actually posing a new angle to this, and it makes a lot of sense. And the gist is that most likely our first confirmation is not going to be the hello, but the goodbye or the help us message, because it takes a hell of a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of resources, and that could be put into other things, couldn't it? Think of that energy, just like here on Earth. The reason we don't send these out there, the reason we don't put our money into SETI in the first place is, oh, well, we need to be looking into these drugs for this or this science for that. There's always a better excuse, except for when your civilization is coming to the end. Maybe their star is going to swallow their sun. Maybe they invented AI and it went wrong. You know, so maybe they're saying help us, or just a goodbye. Maybe they're uploading what knowledge they had to the galactic internet, hoping that somebody else is going to take the baton from them. But that is when a civilization is going to be most motivated to put in the energy for a long enough period of time. And those outliers, those incredibly strong, incredibly long signals, would peak above all of the rest there as well. And what antennae is it used for the frequency? So it is, we've got a parabolic mesh antenna, and the horn is tuned for this range. Some other filters coming in, and there. Where are we then? Boom! There is the mad guy. How are you doing, Harker? They're spinning around Mars. How are you doing tonight? There, and Janie there. Don't forget. It's meant to say. Oh. Agent. Oh, you're replying there. Sorry. I'm going to be tripping over myself even worse than last night tonight. I'm still ill. And Stephen, and where I live, good evening. Watching from County Cork, Ireland. Good to have you in, Stephen. How are your skies tonight? It's a little bit cloudy for us here, so we've obviously switched over now to our alien radio signal hunt, listening out, like the film Contact, on the hydrogen line, hoping to hear a message from ET. It is a right place, a right time sort of deal. It doesn't happen all the time, but if you don't look, you don't see, do you? There. Lila as well, coming in with the follows there, and the shares from Harko, appreciate that one. And Henkos as well there, good to have you guys in. Where are you all joining us from tonight? They do say hello there. Did I see Agent Penfold enter? I think so, X. And Vicky, you can pick up lightning on a radio. It's exactly like that as well. You know, we are, you know, so, the universe is so connected in a radio. So it's such a useful tool for us there. Marcus is into A up as well there. And first time in there. What is the odds we get something? Oh, Stephen, they're not great. They're not great. But the more we do it, the more statistically our odds increase. One of the issues with mainstream SETI, where they're listening out there, is that they don't do it how they do it in the films, right? You know, where they're all sitting around waiting and listening, and then they drop their pizza on the floor because then they suddenly get the message. They don't do it in real time. They mostly piggyback off of other scientific data, other radio telescopes, just looking at that star system for whatever purpose or reason, and then it takes them years to go through the data and go, oh, that was an interesting signal. So the problem is they're not checking the same patches of sky regularly, essentially, and you know, that is the thing, because it is, when are they going to send that transmission? When is it on? The more you do it, the more your odds do increase, and that's why ours is a fixed dish. So basically it only changes with the seasons. We do the same patches. It's always running in the background, even if we're not doing it on the stream. We're always running it in the background, hoping to log some signals, and you can tune into our website and you can catch those. Excuse me, my little things come up there. Yeah, you can tune into our website and basically do it at any time there. But yeah, the more we do it, the more our odds increase. Am I right in thinking, I can't see our our actual the map. So if you're on YouTube, guys, you get to see more of the screen. Guys, if you're on TikTok, this is what you're missing out of over on the tube. So you get the middle bit, but there's all sorts of other analysis going on, extra details there. Also a sky map that is kind of mostly blocked by me. But over on the tubes, this bit here tells you where our dish is pointing, and it's live. So as the night moves on, you'll see the stars move across the screen. They'll get into range of our dish, which is the target symbol in the middle. And I think, because I can't actually see the stars, it's too small on my screen. It used to be on a bigger screen for me, so I need to fix that. But I think it's either now or coming up, but it is we'll be pointing at the same patch of sky where the WOW signal was detected. So if it's not tonight, it will be coming up pretty soon there. But we're always on, guys, doing either live UFO, UAP, sky watches, or these alien radio signal hunts. So pretty much every night, hoping to get some direct evidence of the phenomena. Just grateful you can't hear the Space Force anthem in space. It's horrible. I haven't heard it yet. I'll have to check that one out in as well. And Hackings, how are you doing? Good to see you there. And Ayup as well, a member over on the tubes as well. Thank you, Ayup, very kind of you as always, being awesome there. Appreciate that. You'll be joining us. Oh, you're always joining us anyway. You're the one that does the production for the deep dives over there. HR staff. We need HR. That's Kate. Rodney's in as well. How are we doing? You just about got us there. And it sounds like a euphemism. It does a bit. It does. It did enter my head, but I thought I wouldn't lower it up. You've been hanging around your Allens for too long there. And how's my friend Rio? How are you doing tonight? Good to have you in there. Blue Nose coming in with the gifts there. Ads as well coming in with the follows. Where are you joining us from tonight? If you're new here, guys, do say hello. Let us know where you're all watching from tonight. Ask away any questions. There's no silly questions here at all. Maybe it's what we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're doing it, or anything like that. Yeah, we want to hear from you all. Might take me a second as we're reading through the messages. I'm 6 minutes behind, which is not too bad. I imagine it'll be a quieter one tonight. So yeah, do say hello and ask those questions there. Get off your phone. Alan's cousins do it in their usual dickhead mood. I knew it, Ayap. I knew it. Where are we in? Barrett 1.6. So yeah, there is a good connection with another frequency. So we're down at 1.420, the hydrogen line. But lots of people, especially if you're a Skinwalker Ranch fan, talk about 1.6, and that is a frequency a little bit higher up, not too far. That has this history of potentially, having these connections with UFO and all strange sort of activities. Now, the reason we do 1.420 is for a few reasons. One, it's the hydrogen lines where scientists expect these distant messages to come from. The second is that there's limited interference on this this channel as well. Again, it's reserved for listening only. So if we do get a signal, we can be reasonably confident with some other checks there that it is not a human device. Now, 1.6, it's all right if you've got visual, then that can help you with it. But 1.6 is used for ground to satellite communication. So if we were to sit here tonight on 1.6 and go, oh my God, look, we've got a great signal, we wouldn't be able to filter out the human versus not. So I'm trying to think of a way of kind of including it, but so that extra, if we can get like a visual confirmation, because if we could go, oh my God, we're seeing a strange light moving weird in the sky, and we was at the same time getting something from 1.6, that's a good match there. See if we can include those ones in some way, shape or form there. How you doing, Grandad M? Thank you for the shares, guys. It is the likes, the shares, the tapping away, all of that jazz that really does help us reach more and more like-minded people like yourselves. And the more eyes and minds we get on the phenomena, the more we can all piece this puzzle together. Let me scroll through the messages there. Is Raf in? Where I can't even see Raf. Oh, there we go. There you are, Raf. How are you doing tonight? And down here as well. I'm just scrolling through the chat. We're all good. Snotty. We're snotty, but we're all right there, Rio. How about you and yours? Agent Siri. What's that there? Where are we down here? Oh, I can't do the translation for that one. Bloody adverts are tipping you over the edge. It's forcing you into it. That's their plan. Don't give in to it there, Ayap. Don't give in to them. Marcus there coming in with the gifts as well. Thank you, Marcus. Very, very kind of you there. All goes back into the stream. Helps improve what we do. Same as the members, the merch and all that sort of stuff. Speaking of, look, Signal Hunter. Who's got a Signal Hunter t-shirt there? Really well. We have to go back to hospital tomorrow. Oh, yeah. How is she after the other activity there? Hoping all well. Hey, that's our blood. Vicky, they really, really are. Oh, and I'm glad, Mars. I'm glad to hear it there. Cold has departed. It's not as bad, but I'm when you're just exhausted and your brain is working even less. So like I'm a bit snotty, and I think I'm on the way up, but I'm just absolutely out of it there. Just spent hours playing my game for it to have... oh no, that's never good, Raph. That's a controller out the window job. And Lethal there, just say, if aliens are bad, why would we want them to know where we are by radio signal? Just saying, it's a good point, and it raises a very interesting question. So what we're doing tonight is SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence through radio. We're listening out, so we've just got our big ear out there listening to see if we can pick them up. The flip of that is METI, messaging of extraterrestrial intelligence. And we don't do a lot of it. There are various groups that are pushing, saying we should do more, and there are other groups saying we should bloody well not do that until we're confident we have an idea of what could be out there. We've done it once, though, as a species. So, in the early 1970s, I think 74, we sent out a message from our most powerful radio transmitter at the time, which was the Arecibo radio telescope. It was also a space radar. We've lost that one recently, sadly, but it's a high-powered transmission, kind of just out there to nowhere close by. Just was, hey, we're humans, you know, we're on the third planet for our star, we're a carbon-based life form, blah blah blah, generic hello, anybody else out there message. But we only sent it once. It was very, very brief, so you know, this is the thing, isn't it, there? And we wonder, you know, we're picking up all these individual signals, all these individually anomalous signals, and going, well, we need to hear it repeat for alien to confirm it's aliens. We didn't repeat it. Excuse me. We didn't repeat it at all. It was just sent the once, but yeah, maybe it's not a particularly good idea. So I'm torn with this because old Stephen Hawkins, Professor Stephen Hawkins there, interesting chap, obviously very accomplished and knowledgeable, and he said on this, probably best that we don't, you know, we don't know who's going to be out there, which is a fascinating response from a scientist that, you know, talks about space and stuff, because if he was, you know, wasn't confident that there is a high chance of not only other life, but other life being able to reach us, then he wouldn't have said that. He would have said, do what you want. There's no evidence to suggest that life is out there, blah, blah, blah. But he didn't say that. He said, probably best to play it safe, which tells you that old Stephen Hawkins there, all into his space stuff, was it space physics and all that stuff, black holes, thought there was a highly likely chance of bad aliens out there. So I find that adds a little bit of a tick to it there. The flip of this is as well, though, the Earth has been screaming life for about 2 billion years. So if anybody has had the technology that we have now in the last 2 billion years, they could have pointed it to Earth and known that we have a biosphere, that we have life. So our radio signals have only been going, for about 100 years, 130 years, something like that. No, yeah, 130 years, something along those lines. So you can draw a 130 light year bubble around us, and that is who knows that we've got a signal, that we've got technology, basically. So, you know, maybe there's answer that, you know, loud signals will attract more attention, but life has been screaming biological signals. I don't know. I mean, I always like to err on the side of caution with these things. And Rodney's, I always told my kids when they were little, it's better to be pissed off than pissed on. Yes, actually, that you're reminding me of that South Park episode. That was that's an interesting one. And did you saw the last comic Manus made there after the 25th of August? Manus is dead. Oh my God! After the 25th, that is. Oh, we need to do a send-off, Harco, for all of the awesome ones. I haven't checked out today's one, but we need to do a send-off. I've been mulled out on the sofa there. And how sure the signal source is from space, because it can be intercepted or generated. Exactly. It's very, very hard. But there are a few little rules of thumb that we can use. So partly it is going to be how long it's on screen for. That kind of indicates if it's a consistent signal source. You know, you can tell with how fast the Earth is moving. You know, think of the, you know, if we're on the moon, right, if we've got a transmitter on the moon, now dish is pointed up there, with the Earth moving, like, you know, that sort of speed there, you can tell how long it's going to be in range of that signal as it's passing by. Whereas at those distant planets, the Earth's rotation is going to be it's going to have such an amplified effect, so it'd only be very quick. So that kind of gives you a clue. The other part of it is going to be the type of signal that we get as well. So we're looking for technological there as well. So technology displays interestingly there, but you know, it's very precise, whereas nature is very messy and widebands that can filter out some of the organic signals. Now, technology shouldn't really be transmitting on this frequency. It's not allowed to by international treaties. It doesn't mean that some naughty people don't do it, but it really does minimize the chances of that, because, you know, it's not like our Wi-Fi router is going to be sending the signals down here. The biggest one is going to be interference for us, but interference is really, 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 really precise. So if you look down, if I get my cursor, see like this line here, and it's represented around here, these little spikes. That is an interference there, so it's a nice clear square. Whereas what we'd expect to see, if you're on the YouTube, if we want to see something like that, is a technological signal that we do want to see. But we'd probably see it arching over that. So that's kind of some of the clues. But also, if we're seeing it slightly off of the frequency as well, if we're seeing Doppler shift, which is the idea that if the source of that signal is in motion, like a planet orbiting a star, or the planet is self-rotating, that will slightly adjust the signal that we're seeing here. So we've got the frequency that appears on here. So they may be transmitting right on the hydrogen line, but if their source is moving away from us, that's going to stretch out those radio waves and make it a slightly lower frequency range there. If they're coming towards us, it's going to compress it, make it a slightly higher frequency. So things like that we can do to help us improve it there. How you doing, Mark? Good to see you in. And Christopher's in as well. Interesting stuff. Stephen, space is fascinating. We'll go into it more, but there are some other little anomalies in the radio world that kind of point more to the UFO hunting that we do. That we do get some other little clues that maybe something else is going on there as well. And Carl and Rio coming in, feeding Alan. Thank you for those. And Rio coming in with the extra gifts. It all goes back into the stream. Where are we? Yeah, we'll talk about the long delay echoes as well. And what constellation is the camera pointed to right now? So the camera we've not got out tonight, but the dish directly is pointed to. You know what? I'm going to check this out because I think it's Sagittarius because it was this time of year. Let me just check. So we're basically directly south, about 10 degrees off the horizon. So it's a fixed position. Oh no, we are Microscopia. That's a constellation? Where's Sagittarius? So we're not on Sagittarius yet. Microscopium, which I have no idea when they decided that was a bloody constellation. No, don't want more information on Micro-fucking-scopium. I want you to remove that. Sagittarius. Oh, no, hold on. I was moving it wrong. Right, dish is there. Yeah, sorry, we are on the tail end of Sagittarius. I was pointing too far to the left. That was right. We are Sagittarius. Oh, Sagittarius is interesting, guys, because that is the frequency. Sorry, that is the point of sky where the WOW signal appeared to be coming from. It's where Frio Atlas appeared to be coming from as well, or definitely was coming from. So we're listening on the same frequency as the WOW signal and also the same patch of sky. Now, we don't know within that constellation whereabouts. The equipment that heard that signal wasn't sensitive enough to tell us for that one. Marcus, did you put in a treasure box there, Marcus? Thank you for those ones as well. And my opinion, coming in with the gifts. Hope you all thank Marcus for that. Holy Kappa there, Kate. And Paul there, aliens could tell us so clear off and been watching the human race for some time and find us really primitive and boring with nothing to bring to the table. Or maybe aliens will contact and will see us as food. That each version is plausible, Paul, and everything in between. Like, there's probably unlikely to be just one. And if there's unlikely to be more than one, there's going to be different versions, aren't they? Different species at different levels, different attitudes. I mean, we look at how evolution has such a diversity of life here on Earth. There's going to be a diversity in temperament as well. Some are going to be more aggressive, some are going to be more passive. It's going to be an interesting mix out there as well. Oh, I hope that this is put you into a corner there because of the adverts. I'm sorry that happened to you. Hopefully that solves it. For that, Sir Morningwood, how are you doing there? Imagine being a tuna fish there. Everything wants to eat you. Well, exactly. Maybe this is true on a bigger scale for us. You never know. They talk about soul harvesting and stuff like that. Grandad M, just getting your messages now. How are you doing there? Lethal coming in with the gifts too. And Macca there. What signal and messages you are sending? Or just listening for a signal and waiting for contact? So yeah, we're just listening out, Macca. It's really, really good question. So we're just on the listening at the minute. And we're listening out for a very particular type of signal, which is the species out there, saying hello. Is anybody else out there? They call it the SETI message. The idea of just saying, hey, anybody there? Just potentially an alien signal coming from deep space. We don't even have to decode it. In fact, our chances of decoding what the message actually says are going to be very, very, very limited. But the fact of confirming a technological signal not coming from Earth or any of our probes out there would be amazing. There's been a lot of interesting signals, but they need to catch it twice to say 100% that it is alien there. In fact, our closest neighbor, Proxima Centauri, could be sending us signals, which is pretty interesting. I'm not sure if that's terrifying to think that our closest neighbor maybe at a similar or more advanced technological level than to us. Probably interesting there. Military comes on the dial there. Carl as well, coming in with the gifts. Cow napping. That is the perfect gift for the stream there. And Emma there, so please share the site. So we, yeah, you can do this on our site at any time. It's at The Thing UFO. No, wait a minute, that's the wrong one. That's our thing. So it's thethingufo.live, and then you can do this pretty much every time. You've got to register on the site with the same email address as you register on our Patreon. The free tier works, but then it gives you access to everything there. So hold on, this is the site, shows you our schedule of events, what's coming up there, merch, all the normal site stuff. But in a second it loads through to the behind the bit. You have to confirm that you're not a bot, and that's why we match it to the Patreon with it there. But if you see, you get access to the sensor dashboard here, so all sorts of other things to monitor as well. Geomagnetic index there, solar wind speed, solar flare index, the Schumann resonance, political polling on, do we think disclosures coming. You can toggle the ones you want and pop them out as well, so you don't have to have all of them there, but it shows you in a second when it loads. There you go. Yeah, so it is available to all of you guys there as well, and you can actually log as well. You can click a button, so if you see anything, it will log it and recognize who has taken those ones there. So it's available all of the time over there. As well, you also get the UFO dog whistle too. What is the we're all through the typos here. It's always the place to share kinks. Alan King. And only just had a proper look into the members part of the website there. And holy cow, the tool state is wicked. Thank you, Super. I appreciate that. It's surprising how little people use it, but hey, that's all cool with us. But we're going to be adding hopefully the tracker to that at some point as well. So, you know, helping you guys all get access to, you know, we can all work together and get more and more data together, I think is the way to do it. So I appreciate you having a look there, Pancake. How's you do? Lilac, thank you for asking. It's mostly okay. I mean, I've still have to go to the dentist, but I'm not in the agony I was the other night with it. It's still swollen. Now the jaw hurts more than the tooth. But yeah, it's now just this cold that I've come down with there. And Mars there at 1.6, you might get a skinwalker rant. So I would love to do the 1.6 because there is that correlation. But that's 1.6. He said it's local. It's more like from a direct UFO encounter, and it's not just skinwalker rants, there are places that do think that they have measured literal signals coming from UFOs close by at around that frequency range. So I think I'm going to try and find a way that we can include it when we're doing the live on location stuff to see if we can match it with those visuals to get that confirmation there. Down there as well, you met Travis in 82. That is pretty cool. What did you think? It won't be the last of it. Oh, it'll be around 6 to 15. Jesus. Well, hopefully, though, it's, you know, all worth it, and, you know, going through the process. I had some friends do that as well. It's not an easy thing. And Casper made it into the top 5 streaming. Oh, excellent. Oh, good on him there. Clever. Again, the more eyes in the skies, the better there. Space Minister Marcus, you're giving them all official roles. And is this the laptop? It's about as usual as the tracker. This works much better than the tracker. I think I figured out the tracker problems. I think it is all to do with the heat, because if you notice as well, the actual this is less laggy. The top radio bar that normally is lagging out because this computer overheats. So I think it's all heat is the problem for us. If we cool it all down, the equipment, we might actually be able to get it all working properly there. Where are we? Down here, there. Oh, I won't be around for very long today. They're going to Greece. Mr. DB, I'll have a fantastic time. Remember to keep an eye on those skies. Lots of potential sightings around that way. I think some of the most interesting ones I've seen have been around that sort of part of the world. Greece, Turkey there. So make sure you're paying attention. We sent out the golden disc. We very much did. And that's out like, the furthest, I think it's Voyager 1, isn't it now? Or is it Voyager 2 that's gone further? Is it one light day almost around there? Yeah, a new one there. There's too many differing reports on how the Travis's health. Travis's health is at present there, following the episode. Oh, their health around Travis. I didn't know that. And Carl, they're coming in with the extra gifts. Thank you, Carl. There on the roses. I said, oh, Crystal Curtain there, not. I mean, one and the same. It's a Liverpool version. Everybody thank Marcus if you grab the coins there. And someone to point out the obvious. Oh, I 100%, especially when my brain is working about 2%. So that's been affected by the heat as well. It is. The heat has just been absolutely ridiculous. Surprised I haven't damaged the computers with it. I'll have to consider that for next year because aircon didn't really work in this room. Where are we down there? Is that Mason in as well? 15 degrees here today in mist and rain, and the Mitch is rib. 15 degrees sounds like heaven though. How are you, Mason? Good to see you there. And has anyone heard of the planet Nibiru being detected? I heard NASA confirming something larger than Jupiter. So the last I heard was there is this theorised planet 10, whichever, depending if you count Pluto. They feel that they're very close, but it's going to be really, really, really far out there in the old the Kuiper Belt. I think actually really far. And there's a telescope about to come online, which I think is going to have the clarity to kind of do a full scan of the sky, and they'll know. Then there's a few clues, but it's mainly like the gravitational interactions that, you know, with other planets have been disturbed and things like that, the tilts of them, you know, that sort of thing that kind of points to there being a large object there that's able to do this, and they think they're close to confirming it. Now, if it's that far out there, probably not like the Nibiru in the Anunnaki text, but if it's on an eccentric orbit, which it could be, and an eccentric orbit, guys, is basically something that isn't just your standard nice circle or a slight elliptical one. Eccentric ones are normally like, you know, really, really far out and then comes close and then back off again. So maybe it's away from the inner solar system for like 30,000 years and then boom, it has a little pop through, fucks with everything as it comes by. The midges, I couldn't survive, I don't think, there. And Epsilon, oh, I don't know that your stars. Oh, this was the things. Yeah, no. So I think it is Sagittarius that we're close to now. We've checked there. So yeah, you should be able to see just the ones. I think it's we're on the side of Sagittarius. Let me. Oh, I am on the monitor there. So yeah, these ones here are part of Sagittarius, I think. Where's my cursor now? Make it a fat one. THC and a cuppa, very civilized there. Mad Dog, how are we doing there? All the like from T-side, we are here, so they must be there somewhere. Bang on, Mad Dog, bang on. And I think that should be the attitude, unless there's good evidence to the otherwise. And I think there's actually a lot of evidence that reinforces this now. The main reason that we haven't confirmed alien life like 100%, and this is the thing. Have you ever seen that meme of where somebody's riding a bike and then they put the stick in their spokes and then they fall off the bike and then they, you know, blame whoever? That is the meme there. It's the self-inflicted injury one. That's what modern SETI is. It is we're going to point a dish at this distant star for, you know, a minute or whatever it is there, and then we're going to take 20 years to review the data, 5 years to put into another paper that this looks interesting, and then another 5 years before they get to do it. You know what I mean? It's so long-winded before they get the signal and then get that second confirmation. That's why they haven't got it yet. It's an own goal, because what you need is two dishes at the same time pointing at the same object, and just, you know, because then you can get that confirmation. But they don't. It's not like in the films where they're all sitting around in the control room and they bring up their friends. That's what they're meant to be doing, but they don't do that because of costs. They just sit around, they collect the data, take 20 years to process it. So no wonder. It's like if Amazon arrived and rang my doorbell and I took 3 weeks to answer, and I was surprised if they weren't still there at the door. It's exactly what current SETI's doing, because we're getting lots of these hits, lots of these targets. You go, looks like a technological radio signal, looks like it's not coming from here on Earth. How do we do it to next level? Well, at the same time, you need it in real time. You need to be able to ring up your friend on the other side of the Earth with a telescope to point it there and go, you getting the same thing, to confirm it's not your dish and it's not something directly in front of your dish there. And I've been using incense sticks when we're sitting out. They seem to work, but not when I'm walking the dog. It bites all over. You can't just, like, you know, strap two to the shoulders there as you're walking, get rid of the midges. And it Starfleet Squadron. We'll give you the crew manifest, Agent X, and you can tick them off. Lady Unfriended, no, look at my boots. Just make sure it's not the tooth making you ill. There can become very dry. So that is something on the back of my mind with that one. But the missus has come down with ill today as well, so I'm assuming it's a normal viral one. I'm hoping. So, but yeah, I've got to be careful. We'll see. I'm not on for a few days. It was dangerous. How you doing, Philip? Good to see you there. Ben is in too. Yeah, I've got to talk to the dentist tomorrow. I hate doing that. If it was an alien signal, why have we never heard it again there, despite decades of listening? Really, really good question. And basically, they're expensive. They are expensive. So we, as a species, sent out a signal once. and that was in the early 1970s. High-powered radio transmission. Hello, we are, from the third planet from our star. We're a carbon-based life form. Blah blah blah. We sent it once. So first of all, why would aliens be any different from us? But it takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of resources. So it's very unlikely that they're going to have the beacon, the transmitter on the whole time. There's just normally better. Same here. It's like arguing for resources for just doing the listening for anything in UFO investigation. There's always something else they want to spend the money on. They don't officially, look into any of this publicly. There's, the science says, oh, we've not got enough money. It's possibly be the same situation for them as well. Said, in fact, a recent paper came out and said, actually, a species is going to be most motivated to send a message when they're coming to the end. If they've got a warning, maybe their star is going to swallow their planet and they can't get off the planet there. Maybe it's all going wrong for them. Whatever it is, maybe it's not the hello message, maybe it's going to be the goodbye message. That is when they go, they've got nothing better to spend that energy, those resources on. They might as well just have it on for as long as possible until the end. But even then, they're probably going to be short messages, aren't they? They're probably going to be until the event happens. So likely, if you're taking 20 years to come back around to check for the signal, the end's happened probably for it there. And Damien there, hello, it's new Sabler. Thank you, Damien, appreciate that. I keep forgetting, guys, if you've been a recent follower from us for the last few months, we haven't done many of these. So this is what we do. This is our B-side. This is what we do when it's too cloudy to get the camera out, or too rainy, or whatever, too miserable it is there. So it's our alien radio signal hunt, where we're searching the hydrogen line, which is the channel on the radio dial where scientists theorize that if ET's out there, this is where they would put the message. Hello, is anybody else out there? It is where the WOW signal was heard, and it is where lots of other anomalous signals have been heard over the years as well. So just to quickly run through what we got. If you're on TikTok, you're seeing like the middle of the screen. You're missing out on all the other analysis. It looks like this. So over to the left, you've got the waveform analysis of the sound that we're hearing the signal. Like that. Obviously, we're getting the background noise from the universe at the minute, not a clear alien signal. We've got that. But to the middle right, you've got the actual details on the stars that are in range of our dish. And you can kind of see it just over here. But behind me, if you're on the TikTok, this is a live sky map over the tubers. Can see it all there. You see the full night sky from our point of view. See where our dish is pointing. And as the night moves on, those stars move in range of our dish. So we've got a couple directly in range and a few closer by. See all of that information, plus all sorts of other contextual stuff there. So at the Thing UFO, it's definitely worth checking out there. But on the top here, let's have a look. Where's my... yeah, there it is. Right, so this is the live radio signals coming in across all of those different frequencies. Each one of these is a different frequency, a different channel, essentially. You can always subdivide, point this across it. But this line, this central line here, is the hydrogen line. This is the bit of interest for us there. So on and around that line. But live coming through there, you're seeing all these little spikes. See down here, look, there's a bit of a ridge. There it's coming through as a thin spike. So the top one, live dynamic spikes. This is the same data, but displayed slightly differently. It displays it as averages, so you can kind of see patterns and trends a little bit easier. Hence, that thin spike that we don't notice as clearly is displayed here as a ridge, same as these ones here. Down here, with this natural undulation, the little lumps, that is the background noise, very organic, natural looking, whereas these square electronic ones are a bit clearer there. So it helps us to visualize those. So it's sky map down here. This is the waveform. We want the red line to look like the green one, and then the star planet information there as well. And some local stuff, although the data boxes don't seem to be working down the bottom there, which is frustrating. Oh well. Anyway, that's what we're doing tonight. And a 50 or a 75 ohms cable was the best for this. I have no idea. I'll have to double check. It was a while since I set it up, and I do actually need to go make some adjustments to this. I keep meaning to, and I keep putting it off. I'll have to let you know on that one. I'll catch you later, Harko. Wishing you guys all the best there. And Shams as well, how are you doing? Good to see you in there. And guys, if you're new here, do say hello. Let us know where you are all joining us from tonight. Ask any questions. There's no silly questions here at all. We want to hear from you all. I am 8 minutes behind in the chat, but we will get to your messages, so do say hello. And again, if you've had an experience with the phenomena, the highly strange, would love to hear about that too as the night goes on there. I'm glad to hear it, Mason. Yeah, we're all good here. Just a little bit of a cold. And 50 ohms is most used there, but 75 works for satellite users. 75 ohms. Does it really? There we go. So it probably will be the 50 that we're on for this end. Is that like a little smoke in the tin? I can't remember now. Oh no. And there, you're talking about your midges. Got the sniffles? Yes, I definitely do have the sniffles. So my brain is no worky as much as it normally is there. And cloudy here in Wales there. Looks like a rain. I remember rain. Barely. This is the thing. We haven't done this in months, it feels like, in absolute months, because it's just been clear nights. We're not used to this in the UK. So just like I can't remember what rain is, I'm like, I can't remember half the things I normally say about doing this. This is normally like an every other night thing for us with the weather. You know, it's only clear skies we can get the camera out. So I'm trying to remember all of this there. Light rain with you as well, Barrett. Excellent. And have you been having, Barrett, over your way? Or Canada, aren't you? Have you been having the same sort of weird weather? And Michael from Duflair, how are we there? Your reminder that Stonehenge just did that. We need that reminder every now and again. How are you? And we've had so much cloud cover over Yorkshire for months there, but tonight we got rain. What do you had? I mean, I did hear that it is slightly, it's not as bad as it is down here, but here it is like, you know, hotter than the sun consistently. It's been ridiculous there. Janie coming in with the gifts, appreciate those guys. It is the gifts, the members, the Patreons, the merch, all that sort of stuff. Let's Signal Hunter shirt. It all goes back into stream, helping us on the road. I said we're saving up. We're so close to, you know, getting the Starlink and the other bits there that we need to do more on location Skywatchers there. Oh, it's clear in Cornwall for a while, so we may get some clear skies. It might be down coming our way then. We should be so lucky. I will keep an eye out. Had to cut the grass every 3 days here. Rib, I have not cut my grass since April. Yeah, no need, and it's normally an every week job. Not normally glad someone else is ill there, but it's more reassurance. Yeah, well, me too, because I'm worried that it's this that it's my tooth infection that's spreading, and that's quite bad. So I'm hoping it is just a normal viral thing, along with my normal infections there as well. And Jordan as well coming in with the gifts. Thank you for those. That's very kind of you there. And why standard radio instead of optical or quantum communications there? Lethal, a very good question there. Oh, I only got the first part of that one. I need to make it so it fits more messages in. Good test there. But that's cool. The first part is cool there. So, but yeah, so why radio? This is a brilliant question. We don't just communicate in radio, do we, as humans? You know, we use light, so for fibre optic there. I mean, we even use semaphore, which I suppose is reflecting that light back, isn't it? Thanks. There, so we use all sorts of things, and again, you were touching on the possibility of quantum worlds. You know, we're early days. We haven't figured out really how to transfer information, but you know, quantum tunneling is the one there. Quantum entanglement could be a method of communication. There may be some sort of telepathic property as well, especially if they're more advanced than us. Why would they use radio? Well, there's some very good reasons why. So radio is very accessible. It's actually quite low on the tech tree, even though we've only had it 100 years or so. We're probably not that far advanced. So remember, it's this particular type of message. We're not listening out ET, talking to ET, or anything like that. It'd be great if we heard it, but again, they're going to be lower powered. They're going to be elsewhere on the radio dial as well. Maybe other technology. This is that purposely a species sending out a signal saying, "Hello, is anybody else out there?" So you want it to be as accessible. So, you know, if you're going for the earliest accessible medium there, so radio, you can have more potential listeners who are going to be able to hear it. And also, even though our technology is advancing, we're always going to be monitoring this frequency, again, for those scientific purposes, for learning about what the universe is up to, because this is the language of the universe. We're always going to have eyes and ears on this frequency. And AAP coming in with the super chats. Thank you, AAP there. Appreciate that. All goes back into the stream. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button. Thank you for that one. Yes, because if you're following, subscribe, whatever it is, wherever you are, guys, you'll get those notifications when we're on every night, and hopefully it'll be some more Skywatches soon. I'm sure it probably will be tomorrow for that. So yeah, for that purposeful reaching out there into deep space message, then the best place that you're going to have the most eyes and ears on it, they do think is going to be this place. But for their day-to-day communication, probably other mediums is where 1.6 come in, or some other technology as well, quite possibly. And I haven't had my mower out for a month. Or more there. No need, nothing's exact. Just a weed. I've got one very long weed that I'm eyeing up. I don't know where that's getting the energy from to grow. The clothes, they never normally work, but it did work for me the other night. After you guys suggested it, it did actually. So I'm very grateful for that one, because I wasn't going to try it again. But I'm hoping that that's a sign that it's not actually a normal, like a duff tooth. It's just the gum that's infected, because normally it doesn't work on the tooth. I hear Ginger is good for pain too there, similar to taking parasite. Really? I mean, there's a lot of the natural ones, so we shouldn't write off there. And Nix, how are you doing there? And the problem is they won't understand our language, so you're totally right there. The chances that we would have anything in common with ET out there, to therefore be able to hold a conversation is going to be like, next to zero. I think we could probably learn, we could figure it out at some point, maybe, but it's not guaranteed. But for us listening out tonight, the main reason is the message is the message. A clearly technological radio signal coming in, not from Earth and not from Mars where we've got probes, coming from this. That is the confirmation. That is the excitement ones there. Ginger tastes good. It's better than the garlic, which was a suggestion. And I think he did all the clothes. Swallowed. I did swallow more. That's probably what gave me this. Ready for autumn. That's my favourite time of year. Well, apparently it's going to be a hot autumn, which is going to be weird. See how that one goes. It's time for Agent X whiskey. It's always time, X. And Paul there, the WOW signal was detected in August 1977 there, August 15th there in Sagittarius. And now you are grown up and you just might detect an answer. But on the tail of it, you say, so we might keep up. In that area, you could be lucky. If we're lucky, Paul, exactly, you're right. So it was 77, and we sent out our signal in 74, I think. So a lot of people go, oh, was it a reply? We sent a high-powered radio transmission saying, hello, we're out there, and then we get what looks to be very much like a alien radio signal, exactly where we'd expect to see it on the dial. And possibly, but they did come from two different patches of sky, and also only a 3-year difference there. That's only a year and a half in light years away. That's not far at all. So probably not around that one. But I think if we don't look, we ain't gonna hear, are we? And they don't just monitor all these places consistently. There's a lot of issues with all of those. Oh my god, my brain's not. It's a lot. How they do SETI is very, very, very sporadic. Mostly it's second-hand data from all the other sort of studying and things that's going on there. And what do you think about Trump and the UFO video releases there that have come out? Oh, I don't know. I was a bit more hopeful, and now I'm a bit. If I'm being charitable, I feel like they're coming up against some brick walls, And if we're being generous, not that they were just kind of doing it to earn some points, but without giving away anything, which is definitely a possibility. I don't think they've been a waste of time. I think that some very important milestones have been made. Obviously, for us, we want the Roswell bodies, don't we? We want that big, the saucer in the side of the hill. We want the extreme stuff. We're ready for it. But they can't drop that just out of the blue. That would be very dangerous for society if they just went boom like that. So I think the sensible way is to kind of slowly build the case up for it, which is exactly what they seem to be doing. They do seem to be pushing what types of videos are available, and it's slow, it's steady, but and the fact official recognition, not being ridiculed, these are big things. But yeah, not quite the Roswell bodies yet, or the full confirmation. 8-hole almonds have the same effect as 2 parasites. Do they really? Well, is it almonds though that's the cyanide connection? Don't eat too many of them. Buffy there, great stuff. Thank you, Buffy. This is our B-side. He said, if you guys have joined us the last couple of months, you wouldn't have seen this before because it's got so many clear skies. But here in the UK, doing a sky watch outside of this year probably wasn't the wisest thing because there is a lot of cloud. So this is what we do when it is cloudy. This computer is always running in the background unless it's overheated. So if you go on our website, you can log in and do your own SETI hunting all of the time. Oh, Lucy, I can go get antibiotics, but I had an awful reaction to antibiotics a couple of years ago, and I'm now terrified of it. I'm absolutely terrified of, and just normal off the. And it was for another tooth infection as well. When you read the labels and you get all those really horrendous disclaimers of the worst case scenario, that was what happened. I was like, oh, scared the hell out of me there. It probably is there as well, Rib. And I think the strange thing is that they suddenly want to release them when so many people have been threatened and had their equipment taken away and lost their jobs. It does seem like a little bit of contradiction to the previous behaviour, and some people in the phenomena basically say, well, the deep state don't want it out there, but the top level, who aren't told about it anyway, all of your public facing politicians, well, they want to release it for brownie points. So there's a little bit of an internal tussle. What I think is going on is that because we are so much more connected now, their narrative just doesn't hold up. There's nothing to this. So I think that they're trying to release just as little as they can, so they can maintain control of the narrative. That's why I think we're getting little bit after little bit after little bit there. And as Mars says there, don't forget to hit the likes. Do appreciate that, guys. It is the likes, the shares, the tapping away, all of that sort of stuff there that really helps us reach more and more like-minded people there like yourselves. And the more eyes and minds on the old phenomena, the more we can all piece this puzzle together. On the bright side there, Dallas is up 17 versus Seattle. And Johnny, how are you doing there? Have you seen any UFOs this evening? Oh, not tonight, Johnny, not tonight. No, we can't get the camera out tonight. Too cloudy for the first time in months. How are you doing though? That's the problem, exactly. And Saint, how are you in tonight there? From California there, starting a new organisation called Dark Skies. That beats the White House. Awesome. Raw garlic butter, chopped up on a broiled, wash it down with OJ. Okay, I'll add to the list, so I'm going to try these, because I was pleasantly surprised by the cloves. It's got to be actual cloves. I think the oil burns you. I drink clove water in the way. Yeah, the clove oil does burn me. That is the pain of that. And rain, what's that help? We need to do some more rain dances. I still haven't had any yet. This elusive rain that they're talking about there. Right as rain, exactly. Rain in Doncaster. She puts the heating on straight away. Honestly, there was a couple of weeks ago, I think it hit 24, and then there was a breeze, and I was like, oh, maybe shorts aren't appropriate. And I was just like, I've not realised that this has been so long. It's just crazy. Pissed off moment. Oh, Rib, I know. And Janie there, cloudy here in Paisley. It's a cool 14 degrees. Yeah, you guys have had actually reasonable weather. We're getting rain. I hope we have another beautiful thunder and lightning storm. See, that's what I want there. And St. Jack there, 40 grand there, dollars to fix your teeth. That teeth are so bloody expensive. You know, that does not sound off at all. I family members that have had individual tooth, you know, the implant ones done, and they're like £2,500 a tooth. So that's probably what, $3,000 or something like that. Think of how many you got. Absolutely insane are they, and that's just getting the implant. It doesn't take the actual removal, the other one, and all this stuff like that. What's the last root canal I did? The last root canal was £950, I think, and then to actually get the cap that they put on to replace the tooth that they've drilled away on top because it's not strong enough anymore, that's anywhere from £500 plus. Absolutely insane prices here. No chance of an NHS dentist. Sick of cutting the grass lock. Honestly, I'm kind of missing it now. Mars, same. That's the problem. Sorry to sniffing down there. I'm still all bugged up. Hold on. Try and remember to not do that for you guys over the line. If you are just joining us, guys, we are doing our live alien radio signal hunt tonight. We are on the hydrogen line. That is this channel down the middle of the screen there, on the hydrogen line, the channel on the dial where scientists theorise that if ET is out there, this is where they'd put the message. Hello, is anybody else out there? It's where the WOW signal was heard. In fact, we are also tonight pointing to the same patch of sky. Our dish is pointed directly at the same constellation part of the sky where the WOW signal came from as well. So we're on the same frequency. We're on the same there. We have a chance of hearing that infamous repeat, so hopefully we will get lucky to do that one. It should stay with us for quite a while, so even if we do have more of these signal hunts, we will be on the same patch of sky there. So do hang around, do say hello, let us know, ask away any questions there. Some people believe dogs use quantum tunneling with their noses. I've not heard that one before. But again, the quantum world is a whole new book that we are barely scratching the pages of. The way it is going to be intertwined into everything we do, I think is so much more interesting. You know, what's going to be discovered there. And Mr. D there, oh, how are you doing that, the radio thing? Can I do it? Yeah, anybody, radio is actually quite easy. Radio is quite easy. And we work with the manufacturer, they're called Nuelec. You might see their little web address card there. So they provided us with some extra kit to do this, very kind of them there. But then we also did a competition. We gave away free starter kits to get you guys going with it. That was back in March, I think it was there. I'll tap them up later on this year, see if they're interested in doing another one for you guys. Like with anything, the more money you spend, the more sensitive it is, and the more sensitive it is, the more higher the chances that you can get signals, because you can hear quieter and quieter ones, essentially. But yeah, no, you can very reasonably kind of get started in this, and obviously radio, there's all sorts of other things you can get going with it as well. Essentially, the bulk of it, the radio receiver, it's almost like a big USB stick now, plugs into the computer, you bring up the software, and then you see that top bit with all sorts of extra data around it as well. Then you should plug it into an antenna, a dish there for whatever your searches is. But yeah, it's semi-easy. And Tom Hanks managed to sort his tooth out with skate boot. What film was that from? And out there, if we get a storm, it's going to be a corker, and I want to be in the Welsh Hills when it does. I want to be properly sodden, like just soaked. I want thunder and lightning around me. You know, if I'm going to have weather, I want it to be Hollywood. Oh yeah, I can imagine for like easy knowing my family history of teeth. Like yeah, that does not sound at all outright. I think annually in root canals the last few years, I've done at least 1.5 a year basically. So it's expensive. Be mint in the hills. Oh, it would be. Are our assumptions about the watering hole frequency inherently human-centric? So this is another point, Lethal, isn't it, there? That whenever we're looking at these sorts of things, how do we know that this isn't from our point of view? We are interested because we're interested in something else, you know, and really would an alien species have any of those connections as well? It's never something that we can conclusively write off there. You know, in fact, our experience of the universe might be so much different to an alien life form then, yeah, I mean, yeah, it could be so far out that it could be totally off. But the reason that the hydrogen line is theorized to be the place to put the message is because there's going to be all those eyes. And the reason it's going to be all those eyes is because it's the frequency where it gets its name from, that hydrogen naturally emits a radio signal. And therefore, because that is the most abundant element in our galaxy, it gives radio astronomers a baseline, so they know if the universe is doing plus or minus from that. You know, it kind of gives them a good calibration tool. So I'm sure there are things about that are human-centric around that, but elements and radio frequencies aren't necessarily. So I think it's one of the ones that's probably got a big range, but I think if you're talking similar to us, you know, carbon-based biological life forms, we're going to have a bit of overlap there. But as soon as you start getting into the potential plasma, let alone dimensional angles and all of this as well, then that is when we could be so different that you know, they might not be aware of some of the things that we interact with as well there. And where is the Mayans in all of this? That's a good question, Saint. All of this, the Mayan civilization and some of the other what do you call them there? The oldest. So I'm not at words tonight. I'm too tired. I just got antibiotics at the dentist, 8 bloody a day for a week. Oh my God, look, I used to be fine on antibiotics, totally fine. I don't know what's changed in me, but like, here's a heads up. I have no idea, no other issues other than this. But you know, when somebody says, you know, risk of like that, you go, yeah, well, how does that happen? You know, like that. No, like I remember taking these antibiotics for my tooth, and similar toothache. Pop the pill, thought could go for a walk along the cliffs where I used to walk like that, and a lovely sunny day, and I took, and about 20 minutes after I took the antibiotics there, this wave of just dread just came over me, and it got worse and it got worse and it got worse. It's like I knew there wasn't anybody specifically out to get me, but I felt like there was. But like, you can't describe it. Like, it's like I totally get why they have those warnings on them now, because like it was so intense. It was so intense, and yeah, it went on for days like that, and it took a lot to calm back down. Even though I was aware there wasn't like an obvious threat in the environment, everything in my body was screaming that there was. I've never experienced anything like that before, so a little bit scared of the old antibiotics for that one. When I went to Rwanda, it felt like a hill after hill. Where I thought medium was the message. Medium, what are we talking about there? Medium is the device. So the message, not the message itself, it's the way in which you're doing it there. And it's a hot toddy Rio. I don't think I've ever had one of those there. And Janie, how's the mouth? Thank you for asking that, Jamie. Appreciate that. And thank you for the gifts as well, if we missed those. It's sore, but it's much better. Now I just have some sort of cold. So the brain is not working for that one. And I communicated with Mayans on and off there. Sometimes I can get a clear message and what they are talking about. So how would you do your communication there? Is that sort of a consciousness practice? Where are we down there? Yeah, not clear because of the language. Interesting. Oh, it's Mayans as in like current day? Or was I thinking of something else? And have you seen the Mayan learners site for their hieroglyphs? No, that is interesting. And DJ, that if the wow signal turns out to be a natural astrophysical event there, like a magnetar, super iridescence there, does it make it any less significant? Yeah, it does. It does. If it is an I mean, not in the natural sense, that would still be very interesting for them discovering new things. But obviously, I think the reason that it does get its attention over all of the other weird stuff out in space is because it looks exactly like a technological radio signal, you know, and it was exactly where we expected to find it there. So again, nature screams in radio. It's the language of the universe, and what separates technological radio signals from the organic is basically organic one's nature is messy, doesn't care, it's not efficient, whereas technological is efficient and precise there, and that is a very big distinction. It's very hard for nature to sort of emulate that, and that was the big thing with the whale signal. It looked very, very technological, exactly right here on the radio dial where we'd expect to see it. It doesn't mean that it is 100%, does it? But it is still, it's been very resilient there. Nobody has yet explained it away. I speak from up there where it's coming from. Maybe you need a spaceship to get closer to actually like the signal, maybe. If a week going to work there for longer, they're due to being allergic to penicillin. I found out the missus was allergic to penicillin. I didn't know that one. It's kind of sort of thing that you do need to know. Nix, how are you doing there? It's pretty obvious that there's something out there. For you said nothing for a second. I was like, Nick, that doesn't sound like you. That's what I would have thought, Nick. Right? You know, when the scientists come on TV and they go, "There's no evidence." It's so disingenuous because they're lying. There is plenty of evidence. It's just not conclusive evidence. You know, there's so many things that we will use, you know, circumstantial evidence for. We don't use it on its own for good reasons, but it is still very, very relevant. And you know, it also implies, doesn't it, we go, we haven't detected this yet, or it's all circumstantial, we haven't got the confirmation. It implies that we have the ability to get it, and therefore, because we haven't got it, it's that they're not there, when really it's our technology. We don't have the ability to process all this data. We don't have eyes on all the sky at all times, so we get all these interesting things, but we don't have the technology to push it over the line. So banging on the money. Yeah, there's lots of clues that the universe is absolutely alive there. Stu is in as well. No worries, Kat. I'll check that one out over on the cord there. And I must be allergic to something in the antibiotics there. Paracetamol can also help with infections. I might try that one out. Yeah, I didn't realise I'd never been allergic to like anything particularly before in my life, and so it really did take me out of the blue. It was a really weird one. Also, Arecibo was unique, gorgeous, being able to get signals others can't. It was. I mean, you've got, I think it's fast. It's the Chinese version, which is a bigger version now. I don't think it's steerable in the same way that Arecibo was. They can move the head around, couldn't they? And it's not a transmitter like Arecibo was, but it is definitely a great loss not having it, especially as you know, with fashions on these things. You know, it's unlikely that we're going to get a replacement anytime soon there, and it make you feel sick and tired. See, I'd never noticed on previous antibiotics before, but this one really knocked the tits off me. It's still hot down here in the southeast. Nick, it's still hot. It's been cloudier, but it's still bloody hot. It's ridiculous there. Oh, okay, yeah, I need to do that one. Thank you, Kate. Let me see if I can do that one now, because I keep forgetting to do that. Sorry, guys. There we go. Should be done. They can grow teeth now, you know. Oh, apparently, I always see these things pop up about how they're able to do it there, how they can use saliva to repair teeth, and you know that they've got stuff out there, but imagine how much money they would lose. Imagine how much money they actually let us have that. I just hope it comes available before I lose the rest of them. Not good luck with teeth there. Thank you, Lucy. Very kind. And we people on Earth is that we are in a dark void beyond the whole spectrum of the universe displayed. Could well be, it's a way of looking at it. For Japan's wild cyborg tech, it's an interesting place. Oh, it's cloudy and there aren't any stars tonight, but that's okay there. My brother and I had a great evening yesterday, and we got some really good pictures. Yeah, that is the thing. We've got to learn, you know, to take the really good, clear, awesome nights, haven't we, with the ones that are cloudy. I still struggle with that. I'm out on the build-up before the stream going, is it going to pass? Maybe there'll be a cloud. Oh, like that. And I've got to calm myself down. I'm just kind of got to accept it and settle into the decision. But I'm a sucker. I love seeing the stars. When he's a bionic eye, experimental billion-dollar man. We probably are not far off of that at all, are we? I'd like to see it when you can. There's some messages. If you drop us a message at some point, and I can send you a list over the bits that we use there. Oh, Castaway. God, I haven't seen that film in years. Still haven't got over the loss of Wilson. Unfortunately, no Ian McShane. Well, that's why I didn't see it, Raf. And Beef is in there, checking in from Indy. Good, interesting activity tonight. No, we're on the signal hunt tonight. Sadly, no camera with all these clouds. How are you doing tonight, though, Beef, there? Does it still hold up today? I think we'll have to watch it. I don't know if I'm ready for the emotional heartbreak, though. Before they called them whistleblowers. Where was that for? Captain Phillips was a good Tom Hanks film. Also on the water. I recall a CD format made by a Japan company in the 90s using human brain tissue as a storage medium on the disc there. Strange stuff. Oh my god, that is well out there. But totally plausible. Totally plausible there. Hanks on the list there. I can't. That is a shame. That is a shame, isn't it? But partly also not surprising. All of them. All of them. It gets into the philosophical debate, doesn't it? There, you know, do we separate the art from the artist? Castaway has and the Green Mile. Forrest Gump, my favourite film. I've seen Forrest Gump, the first hour of Forrest Gump, about 40 times. It's one of the films I used to put on. Dumb and Dumber was the other one. I think we mentioned this the other day in media studies in school. Because it's an hour-long lesson, you don't ever see the first half. Rather than teaching us there. Oh, Kate did that to change the time. Really? So, yeah, that was an experience. It was hell. It was, yeah, it played with my sense of reality. I'd never experienced that before. It was awful. Life of Brian's the best movie. I ain't not saying ages. Can't quite, you know, it's not quite alien enough, is it, for the movie club? Guys, if you're just joining us tonight, we are doing a live alien radio signal hunt, coming to you live from Wiltshire in the UK, right in the heart of crop circle country and just down the road from Stonehenge. But that doesn't matter much tonight, because it is said signal hunt time. We've got our big dish pointed to the night sky, listening out on what is called the hydrogen line, and that is the channel on the radio dial where scientists theorise that if ET's out there, this is where they put the message. Hello, is anybody else out there? It's where the wow signal was heard. That in fact we are actually pointing our dish to the same patch of sky where the wow signal came from. So we're listening out technically for a repeat of the wow signal tonight. But yeah, do say hello. Let us know where you're watching from tonight, and make sure you're following and subscribe, because normally when it's a clear sky, we do this. We do a UFO, UAP, Skywatch. Looking out for the, and that's why it's relevant where we're based, because lots of activity in these skies, but looking out for the strange and anomalous live together with you guys. It's been a while since we've done this, with all the wonderful weather that we have been having, but hey ho, every now and again to mix it up is not too bad, is it? Yeah, hopefully guys, if you follow and subscribe, you get us notifications when we go live there. He's not the Messiah, he's a very naughty boy. Oh, that is an old quarter there, Saint. We comment on a limited hangout there. Have you ever thought about, can you put it in a book? That's cool. Thank you, Mars. And a single, a non-repeatable observation ever be constitutes scientific proof? No, it can't. It can't. And that is science. Why science quite reasonably needs that second detection, doesn't it? But the problem is, you've got to be in a position to get that second detection. You know, you have to listen. I don't know why they don't with SETI. Well, I know why they don't, money. But, you know, the actual direct SETI listening they do, because there's one telescope array, I think in California, that does do SETI work. But other than that, again, it's all piggybacked off of the other science work. I think there's a private organisation as well that pays for telescope time. But it is all right. We're going to pay for, I don't know, an hour, 10 hours, whatever it is, on Green Bank telescope to look at this part of the sky. And that's great, but you're never going to get the confirmation there. What you need to do is two telescopes at the same time pointing at the same object. You need to get that, or, you know, parts of the sky at the same time, because if you can get that second, that's how you can get the second detection in real time, you know. And good evening, Amelia. How are you doing there? Didn't some kid find out that the Mayan temples or something along those lines are all lined up with constellations? Oh, I don't know, but a lot of them, you know, it's archaeoastrology. They're actually looking at this, and the mainstream archaeologists are kind of like, oh no, it's not true, but it looks very, very suspicious, doesn't it? Especially when you date them as well. You go, oh, it was perfectly aligned 10,000 years ago or something like that there. And Andy there as well. Oh, what band are you scanning? So we are literally down to 1.420 there, down on the hydrogen line for that. Snatch is one of my films. I haven't seen that film in so long. Lock, Stock, Snatch, brilliant films. The newer versions just never quite match up to it there. Do you like Dags? Growing up in Essex, we had a lot of that. And people in this time to see something different than listening to AM radio. Well, that is what we're doing. Hopefully going to hear something strange. Now, it is going to be a bit of a right place, right time sort of deal, guys. These signals aren't all of the time. We've got to make sure our dish is pointing over towards a star that has a planet that's inhabited by intelligent life, but also key when they are sending that signal. They're unlikely, because of the sheer cost of doing that, to be sending those signals all of the damn time. We didn't do that because, again, we can't justify the costs sending out signals. So we've got to be doing it at the right place, right time. If we get lucky, it'll be 30 to 90 seconds on the screen, which is a nice big peak. They have been heard. So they're rarer than the UFO sightings, but they do get heard. The more we do it, the more our statistical odds do increase of a detection. So somebody's got to do the work and put in the effort. But if you think of it, it's kind of like shouting. So if you've got a friend on the other side of a field, if he wants to hear you, or you want to hear him, I should say, he has to shout loud for that to travel that distance. If you go further away, he's going to have to shout louder. If there's a road in between, there's background noise, he's going to have to shout louder than the road and to compensate for the distance. So it's kind of like that. You could also, as well, if you had a more sensitive, a bigger ear, you could hear him without him getting louder, so he can to and fro a little bit like that. But we don't know technically where they're going to be coming from, these signals. They can be anywhere from 4 light years away to 4 million light years away. That's a hell of a lot of energy required to make that signal listenable, hearable, detectable by the time it reaches us here. So in fact, quite a lot of the time we would imagine that any signals we do get will possibly be below the background noise, so below this line here. So this at the minute is the cosmic microwave background, the sounds of the early universe. Scientists think the Big Bang. Let's listen in. Still hearing it. It's pretty cool. But any signal that comes through will have to be louder than that, or it will get lost in amongst all of that noise. You won't see it. So every now and again you'll see this big red box pop up, and what that's doing is it's looking into that background noise to see if there is any clue that there might be signs of repetition, modulation, encoding, anything that could say, hey, maybe there's a signal here. Now, we don't have the technology to pull that signal out of it like the old FBI zoom in on that. It's not like that, sadly, but it could give us a clue that there is something else going on. So that's what we're looking for there. How many H-bombs to approve the concept? Well, I mean, one tells you, that one works, but it doesn't necessarily tell you that it works consistently, does it? So that's why there had to be many tests. They tested it multiple times to make sure that their understanding of, is it fission or is that fusion, whichever way, was going to work correctly. Hence, you can look out, can't you, to the deserts in Nevada and see all of the holes out there for all the testing. Kate coming in there with gifts, thank you for that. And my opinion, how are you there? Coming in with the shares. It is the likes, the shares, the tap it away, guys. All of that jazz that really does help us reach more and more like-minded people like yourselves. And the more eyes and minds we get on the old phenomena, the more we can all piece this puzzle together. You never know who's going to come in and what experience with the highly strange they are going to share with us tonight. Let me just get my things all set up because all of my buttons have gone awry. Excuse me. The rim of Arecibo made it able to detect things no other rig could. What's special about the rim? That is interesting. And they're real. How are you there tonight? You found me. We've got you. I was intercepting your transmissions. And they have more. They have the money to rebuild the dish. Do they really, Andy? Are they actually going to do it? Because that would be really, really awesome news. Normally, because this thing, a lot of these big science projects, if not all of the big science projects, right, guys, they're all military backed. Arecibo was the same. It was military money for spying and all sorts of other sort of stuff that does it. Arecibo, the space shuttle, all of the Hubble, all of these things, they've all got those secondary uses. They get the money from the government that way around. Building a scope larger than Arecibo. I think it's FAST, I think it's called. They've already got it, but there's something different about it. But it's active at the minute. The contact, Trevor, bang on. That's exactly what we're doing now. We're listening out to the night sky, hoping to hear E.T. say hello. So just like those films, there's not going to be a build-up. There's not going to be maybe we're getting something, guys. It's going to be boom, and it's there. You know, with the Earth's rotation, you imagine as it rotates there, it's going to sweep across the night sky, passing over various stars and their planets. So with the speed of the Earth at these sorts of distances of many light years, it's only going to be 30 to 90 seconds that we're going to be over the appropriate point there if we do get lucky with a signal. There you go. There is the macro signal analysis looking for that. Have you ever seen a V-shaped UFO? Oh, Troy, I don't think we have, actually. Yeah, I don't think we have. Oh, I've got something on my screen there. It's going to annoy me. Yeah, no. I've heard about them, but not as often. Do you enjoy these solar eclipses? Yes. It was, I mean, I would have preferred, obviously, the full solar eclipse, but I did enjoy it still. And did you use to listen to Art Bell when there was no internet connection? So I didn't back then. So sorry, I'm very snotty tonight, so I'm trying to spare you guys from that one. So back in the UK, I think it's only when the internet happened that we can really get that one. So I didn't discover Art Bell till about 10 years ago. I don't ever think I caught a live program, but just the stuff on YouTube there. And even though there are some fantastic people out there doing great interviews, doing great research and stuff, there's something about Art Bell. You just the vibe there. Build the next particle accelerator now there too, I think. So there was, I think the Chinese had said that they weren't going to bother with the particle accelerator, but I know that they want to build a new one, don't they? A bigger one for CERN, like an even massive one. And it's like, come on, lads, that's a lot of money. Are you sure you're going to keep discovering interesting things with that? And why does humanity want the wow signal to be alien so badly? Because we long, don't we? We're curious, we want to know, and that would be a good answer, a good confirmation to lock all these things down. I think it's why we're all here on the streams. We're curious in either which way, shape or form. And I think the things like these alien radio signals, it's different for a lot of us in the sense that we believe that there is UFO activity, that there is stuff here on this Earth, which immediately collapses the relevance of anything being further away, doesn't it? You know, well, if they're already here, I'm assuming they're already out there as well, or whatever, you know. But for a lot of people out there that might not go as far as that, this is the life out there. It's one of those steps of believability. I think it's an important one. I think what will happen is if we don't get the steady disclosure that we're getting from the US government now, if they don't incrementally push it up, I think what will happen, and what they may be waiting for, is for confirmation of life on Mars. You know, that there is bacterial life on Mars. You know, and then people go, oh, okay, right, there can be the principle of life, simple, not harmful life on another planet out there. That answers that question, you know. And then it'll be, we can confirm a biosignature in the atmospheres of one of these distant planets there, like K218b, for example, or something like that. They'll be able to confirm that and go, right, yeah, no, it definitely looks like there is biological life. So we can go, right, we can have life on planets, we can have life on planets outside of the solar system, and then it'll be technological life. Now, a way of doing that would be a technosignature in the sense of CFC, so industrial gases that we know nature can't make at all. There, if we could detect those, that's a nice safe detection, but an alien radio signal is on that sort of pair as well, and a clue that there is other technological life out there. Nice, non-threatening, not too complex, but I think people need to be eased in, you know, and that's why I think it's important in that sense, for that wider public one there. Feed him, J-Dog, exactly. And the Big Bang is just a theory, and it seems to be holding less water as time passes. Apparently, as well, the Big Bang has only like really gained the official acceptance as the current one. It's in the 90s, I think. There, you know, it's a lot of science is best working guess, and because we don't know, you know, the full picture. That's the nature of these things. You know, they may be making this guesses on, I said, like 3 parts out of 1,000. Might be no good at all with it there. So, you know, that is the flaw in science. I still have tons of Art Bell recordings from back in the day. Yeah, back when you actually had to record it. I was literally just the tail end of the generation of recording songs on cassettes. Just checking it was working. Right, because he was going to do it. We need to talk. Exactly, Kate, exactly. So we've done it now. Should be all working. And yes, there seems to be more people coming up with better theories to the Big Bang, etc. And I think this is where we need to do our part, right? We need to let science do the best working theory thing. You know, we need to not ridicule them and go, oh, you got it wrong. No, we need to go, great. You've improved it based upon more information. Good one, lads. We need to do that. And then they, on their side, need to stop treating their best working theory as fact, and everybody is ridiculous for not following it. You know, we need to stop taking these things as definites. And it goes both ways. Worried about 40k, I don't know. Well, I bloody well would be as well. Oh, thank you, Lethal, as well. Appreciate you there. So I was meant to do it previously, but I think I got distracted. Not sure what they are, mind there. Welcome. We come to eat there, Willow. But what? Judging by the probing, I'm a bit worried. It's very quiet over. Yeah, we're well into. We're well in the Tox Bad book still. I'd say you break out the spooky stories, but the chatterboxes on the tubes are chatting. It's not normally like it. YouTubes are normally quieter there. But hey, I love it. I love it, guys. Spy an electron microscope. I don't need any more toys. I want one. But can you imagine? I'll be a new distraction. It'll be a new stream, guys. And any abductees who have had a positive experience with NHI are being ignored in order to lift the bad experience numbers. So I don't know. I think that that it's just not sexy. You know, like there's a lot of things that are in us biologically where we pay more attention to the negative, and that's in us for a very good reason. Negative kills us, good stuff doesn't. So we have this bias within us, and I think that's possibly why they get the attention with it there. But I do agree that we need to be really, really conscious in making sure whatever the zeitgeist of understanding is, that we need to kind of go, look, there is both sides to this. There are plenty of people that report positive experiences. You know, because it's not going to do us any good, is it, if we have this narrative of they're all aggressive, when if that is just not the case. There. And X3P there, pulsars. Pulsars are a good one, but they're kind of well known, aren't they, with their repetitious pattern and stuff like that. And again, they're natural radio signals, organic radio signals there, so they kind of display still quite messily. They're just very short lasting ones, so it's an easy way. But when pulsars were first discovered, they did think, look, regular patterns, this could be technological. That was a contender for it. They do think as well, or they've theorized, that pulsars would be a great way, if you were technologically advanced enough to kind of, if you tweaked them a little bit, you could use them as sort of like an interstellar GPS, because they're so precise with their pulsing out there, these stars out there in the galaxies. You could go, right, well, I am this far from this pulsar, this far, that. You could give yourself a geoposition. In fact, was it the gold disc? It was one of the ones we put out there, and it had our position based on relatively close by pulsars. That's how they do the coordinates in space. Just I've done my toe on the coffee table there. Like, oh, spinning. It's a sign. It's a sign. What is it? The amount of times you stub your toe, and I'm assuming I'm not alone with this, right? Come on. I'm assuming that I'm not alone with this, but why is it the fear of looking down after you've stubbed your toe? Because in my head, I'm thinking it's not going to look like, it's going to look like that. My little toe is going to be at a right angle. It's like the. Oh, okay, no, it's not. It's probably broken, but it's not on its side. Anyone else do that? Saw it out the last time round. And Beef there's how I keep coming back to Salisbury Plain. The really long Warminster flap developed right beside a massive military training area there. Salisbury Plain has got to be connected somehow. Beef, that for me was a big one as well, a really big one. So I've been reading through a lot of the books related to that now, like the really early ones, because the later ones there was a lot of interpretation. What do we think is happening? What do we think the meaning is? You know, they've already assumed that it's ET from somewhere elsewhere. Go back to the early ones where they're just reporting what the sightings were. For me, it could be very much so like ionic, ionosphere interactions, playing around all that stuff. And it doesn't mean that it's not part of the phenomena, because high energy beams screwing around with the atmosphere there can trigger probably things coming in, having a look, maybe all of that sort of stuff as well. But yeah, I think the coincidence that we are right next to Salisbury Plain, because if you were testing equipment like this, you'd test it over an unpopulated area, wouldn't you, like Salisbury Plain? And what if you got it slightly wrong? You'd end up bang on Warminster, wouldn't you? So that's always been a big one. The only counter to that is that the more I started reading into those initial accounts there, because that really did fit for me, a lot of it was the early ones, plasma, lights in the sky, all of those shapes, ionosphere bouncing, basically, all that sort of stuff. Things that DARPA do now. So I could totally see that they were playing around with something like that back then. Although there's no recorded programs that have been publicly available, or facilities that were capable of, because I did look. But what was really interesting, the more I looked back to them, the more, though, it went back in time. And that kind of started to go, okay, maybe it isn't something necessarily that. Maybe it's something to do with the geology of the area. So we've got those Iron Age hill faults, those big dominating hills that surround the town. Also, apparently, a convergence of ley lines that could be quite important to this. I don't know how I feel on them yet. I'm interested, but I haven't done a lot of deep diving. So maybe that's at play as well. But definitely the phenomena, very, very similar to how it's done. It wasn't as busy during the flap as it was during the flap, but definitely throughout history, it's been very, very consistent of strange shit, just like that going on around here. So I was like, oh, well, if it's been going on for a while, did something that they do amplify it there? Did it, and build it up? But very much so, Beef. If you've got any specific theories or you think any contenders, like, I want to hear more on it there. Imagine if we could hear a pulsar. X3, yeah. I mean, we can simulate it, we can adjust the frequency a little bit, but obviously we don't actually hear what that actually sounds like. We're not capable of, but we can kind of emulate it. And Lucy there, the screen is different tonight. You were on earlier, but you weren't watching, were you? You're doing your crystal curtains. So, yeah, sadly, because it's a cloudy sky, we have to roll over to our B-side, which, you guys, because, you've only been with us for a couple of months, you're not seeing this yet because of the fantastic weather we've been having. But on those cloudy nights when we can't get the camera out, it's the live alien radio signal hunt there, using software-defined radio, our own dish, and various amplification and filters and stuff, looking out or listening out, hoping to hear ET say hello. But we listen to the frequency called the hydrogen line. I said that's the channel on the dial that scientists theorise that's the most likely place for ET to leave a message, and it's where the wow signal is heard. As you've seen in the film Contact, it's basically like that. Listening out to deep space, big dish pointed up at the night sky, listening out, hoping to hear ET say hello. But we should have, hopefully, clear skies again tomorrow there. I'll catch you later, Nix. Does the absence of a follow-up signal support the dark forest hypothesis? I think it's too little data. It can definitely be interpreted as that, but just one point of data like that, I think it's just too much to have any confidence around it. But it could be a reasonable explanation, couldn't it, of why we don't hear much. But then the problem is, people say we don't hear much, but what they mean is we don't get that second detection. But we're not looking for the second detections. We do actually get lots of individual one-offs going around, and again, the more advanced and more sensitive our equipment gets, the more likely we are of hearing it there. We should never have such machines on Earth. That unknown stuff belongs far out in space there. Well, quite possibly. The law of unintended consequences, Trevor, don't... we're always getting ourselves into trouble with those sorts of things. So I don't lean down the idea that CERN purposely built it to then do portals and all this sort of stuff like that. I wouldn't write it off, but I mean, there's enough, knowing some of the science around it, there's enough of a mainstream explanation to make a pretty reasonable argument for it. But where I do lean to is that law of unintended consequences. Do they know what they've played around with and what those byproducts of that could be? Are they aware to it to certain degrees? Definitely got a lot of time for that one. Guys, if you are new here, do say hello. Let us know where you're watching from tonight. I am 9 minutes behind in the chat, so not too bad for tonight. We will read your messages. Ask away any questions. No silly questions at all. We want to hear from you all, especially if you've had an experience with the phenomena or the highly strange, as we're waiting for the action to happen on screen. But we're on pretty much every night, so make sure you're following and subscribe to get those notifications when we go live. But on clear nights, as it has been because we've had heat waves, so probably back again tomorrow, it looks like this. It's a live UFO UAP Skywatch where we're looking for all the strange and anomalous in the night sky. I mean, that's a crap video. I actually need to take that one with some more bloody stars in shot. But essentially, yeah, lots of awesome things in the night sky there that we see. So do make sure you stick around for those. My dad's Uranus come to see me in June there. And what activity was there in the southeast there? 23rd of May to the 3rd of June. You know what? I don't know. I'm really bad for I'm not a science guy. I can't do the analytical measurement next point to next point to next point. Like, that's very valuable. You need people doing that. I can barely remember what we were doing yesterday, guys. Which is not great. That's why we rely on you guys to do the clipping and stuff like that, because I'd have no time there. No time. There probably was sightings or activity around then, but I can't tell you. I can't tell you. My brain has already wiped it, sadly, around there. Either that or the origin of the signal. I went boom. Well, that again, that fits in with the hypothesis, doesn't it, of that people are only likely to send those powerful enough signals to be heard when they're quite close to the end there. I love arguing with science there. It's my favourite there. And I like it too. I think ultimately we do need to build a more healthier relationship with all of this. You know, we need to we need to kind of like not poke them and them not poke us, but I can definitely get the satisfaction with it, especially when you come in there. They come in with such confidence and definite. And look, science is incredibly valuable, incredibly useful. We're doing this tonight because of science and technology and engineering. You know, they're incredibly valuable there, but for fuck's sake, they need to wind their necks back in. You know, it's like I'm the scientist. Okay, yeah, congratulations, you're a scientist. Right, you're human as well. Remember the rest of it. And Arecibo attributes sensitivity and faint transient phenomena exclusive band planetary radar facility. Detection, faintest, smallest objects, precision timing, pulsars, retention for surface brightness. And I wonder if it was ET raising an alert and another one blocked it, but it could well have been. It was a very, very, very short signal because as the actual dish that picked it up, it was the Big Ear radio telescope, the Ohio State University's Big Ear radio telescope. And what it would do, it had two horns, two ears on the big ear, right? That big dish, but had two listening pings. And what had happened again, it was a fixed dish, and as the Earth moved and swept across the sky, then the same part would be picked up twice. So first it would go past this one, and then it would go past the second one, like a minute later with the Earth's rotation. So it was heard in the first dish, but not in the second. So whatever it was had stopped by the time the Earth had rotated that minute later. So it wasn't there then. But sadly, there's no recording of the wow signal, because that dish that is the only one that we know of that heard it, it basically it printed out the data and represented the different levels of the signals with numbers and letters. So there isn't actually, people can synthesize it, but if there was a message within it, we'll never know. That wasn't recorded. It was literally that there was a signal and it was this strong and it came from this part of the sky. It's literally all that was taken. It's not even as advanced as what we've got tonight. There, Robert, how are we doing there? And J-Dog, Art Bell was a legend in his day there. Great radio and innovative program for his time. Open the door to today's world of acceptance. But exactly that. You know, a lot of people don't get the medals, but you know, you need to see the ground. It's done in layers, isn't it? I'm not sure I'd want to be spit roasted by them there. I mean, if they take me on their spaceship, I might consider it there. And some signals, because set in the ground there, and Arecibo could get others, and they cannot, and probably a liability to space fleet somehow. There, no interest in fixing it. So because of its position there, I think Fast does the same. There was one that's in Azerbaijan or somewhere like that, Kazakhstan. It's in that sort of area. My ignorance doesn't know the specific place. Ex-Soviet bloc country, and it's a dish. It's nowhere near as big as Arecibo, but it's a very large radio telescope sunk into the mountainside, and it's all abandoned. And I'm like, how much are EasyJet flights out there? Could they let us use it for a bit? Because wouldn't that be cool? Apparently there's a particle accelerator built in stone from ancient times, comparable to CERN in Switzerland there, and never been fired up there, a bit like CERN anyway. I've never heard that one, but that really gets the old taste buds going. Very tantalising in Mars. Have you got any names for it or something? Because I need to hear about that, because there is they think it's a natural nuclear reactor, isn't there, out in, is it Gabon? Out in Africa. And yeah, so they go, it's an organic, it's a rare set of circumstances where the minerals were close enough together, and it caused a slight nuclear reaction, and it's all radioactive now. It's either that or an ancient nuclear reactor. So I'm more interested in little clues of past technology there. Need to take care of the planet there, and they are fuming we are not taking care of the planet in turn. And the children have been having the power of speech taken, if you hadn't noticed. So I don't buy that. I tell you why. And look, it's fine for everybody else to have that. It's quite a common one. But I'm a little bit contrarian, like to push back and open things here. But the idea that they're coming all this way to tell us that we're not looking after the planet, first of all, that's a cultural thing for us. It's not necessarily objective. So not that if they're that far away, would they share the same opinion, and then would they care? But also, it's convenient that the ETs would also, earlier ones it was be careful of your nuclear weapons, and then it became be careful of the environment and what you're doing to the environment, following the cultural hysteria that we have for those times. And it's not that those things aren't to worry about, and we should definitely be doing better with them, but it's a very sort of human-centric point of view to have. So it's always convenient that it follows it. So for me, it's either, did they really say that, or are they just saying that because that's what's in the news? What's in Earth news? Right? If you don't talk to the Earthlings when you land, lads. But if you do, just check what's in the latest news. Got Epstein. No, I won't talk about that one. The weather. They talk about the weather all the time. Yeah, maybe it's something like that they're doing. But I don't think, from our point of view, this is our Earth. We should look after it. We should do our best we can with it. There as well, we should definitely improve how we're doing it. But if they're able to travel from A to B, then we're not special. If they're from a different planet, life exists elsewhere. If they look as they report, hands, legs, and they're complex, then they have a similar biodiversity. So it's not obvious to me that they would have the motivation to care, and also if that's what they'll travel all this way to say with it. So I definitely. Not that it's not possible. I definitely keep an eye out for it, and I definitely think that the lesson, or what it is that they want to say, is a true one. Like as a human, I think that is an important message. But I don't see why it'd be important to aliens. You'll have to remind me when you're replying to that one what we're talking about, because we're going on a tangent. I forget that we mentioned that. That Daniel supposedly died from stubbing his toes on a safe. Really? That's quite not funny but. I broke my little toe twice there. Neither time did it stick out there. It did swell up so much so I couldn't wear a shoe for a couple of weeks. Okay. Well, I shouldn't laugh at that one either. So okay, at least they don't stick out sideways. But I twice. Well, she had to check. She needed scientific confirmation. I went to the pub, did it again. He had to quit drinking after that. I broke a bone before. The only thing I have broken is a nail, and that's painful. Oh, yeah. Look, technically, touch wood, I've never broken a bone. And I used to do the same things that my other friends would do, and they all broke their legs doing exactly the same sort of stupid shit. I never did that, as far as I'm aware. I probably have broken a toe and not realised it. I've had very painful toes that I've avoided. Glass oven door. Stop. Oh my God. Taking it all out as you're going down there. I'll catch you later, Robert. Good, thank you for joining us as always. And Hound's in there. I'm in Essex, and it's raining for the first time in months. The smell outside is amazing. Oh, how I am very, very jealous of that. Oh, proper the ozone after a thunderstorm. That would make me put my cigarette out. That would. I can bear what it's like there. And what role does signal polarization play in proving a signal is artificial? Oh, good question. So the way we use polarization at the minute. It depends in a similar sense to, like, have they interpreted their adaptation of radio technology in a similar way that we have, because they might not do it all exactly the same sort of ways. So the way that we would typically talk about polarization, I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that. It's one I don't actually know, Lethal. Yeah, I like that. And any new aero pursuits there with UFOs? Saint, not tonight, sadly. I have the smell of napalm in the morning. 1964-66 period fascinates me. Major UFO reports were occurring in different parts of the world, while Warminster was experiencing the main flap. It was a busy time, and what blew my mind with Warminster, though, was that it was 64, December 64, though technically there were a few earlier ones, but it went all the way on to the 70s, like, as consistent, like really, really constant. But funny enough, it's called the Warminster Thing, hence the thing, the name of our little channel, is because, being locals, they weren't as connected with the news and the media that we are tonight, and it wasn't obvious to them to go straight to UFOs for the phenomena. It was, it's the thing. Have you seen the thing? Oh yeah, Jeremy, I saw the thing down there. Hello, darling. What are you causing trouble for?
Sign of yours was in my drawer, so I put it over there.
If I want some money.
Your Lego man, your Brunswick Lego.
Oh. Okay, but yeah, so it's just, farmers going, the thing, have you seen the thing, Marjorie, the big light in the sky? Yeah, it didn't occur to them as the UFO phenomena really hadn't reached it as much here. And have you considered going to your local tip there, looking for equipment there? And I've seen some people, documentaries, get lucky and get massive satellite dishes, and they have to hook them up to a computer. So, I'm a nightmare, Buffy. I am a crap hound. Other people's junk is definitely my treasure. The rule is, never buy me a present that you can get on a shelf. I'm not interested in that stuff. I like weird shit. So, yeah, I can't be trusted at the tip. I will find too many gems there. We do have a local one. I wonder if anything shows up there. I mean, we are next to the military bases. I probably told you this story before, guys, but I think this was formative for me as a child. And again, modern world, you don't get these opportunities, so I feel for kids these days. But there was a place, it was called Hanningfield Metals. It's not there anymore. I've told you this story before.
Can I interrupt your story? Here is an example of a thing that I bought Sam for a birthday or something. It's a radio, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a radio. So you turn the globe to tune the radio in. I think it's an AM radio, but it's a Russian one, hence the language there. Stuff like that. So yeah. Essentially, this place, it was a military scrapyard. So I have memories of being like 8 and climbing over piles of scrap metal and then going, oh, look, there's 4 fighter jets just lined up there. And oh, look, there's half of a 747, climbing on mountains of electronic. Oh, there's some missiles over there. And I'm like, crap you not. It was literally deactivated, but it was all around there, tank in the corner and stuff like that. And we just go buy interesting bits from there, because my dad was a tinkerer as well, and that's who used to provide all the props for Star Wars that was filmed over in the UK and stuff like that. Very, very cool place, but they don't really get them these days, which is frustrating there, because you'll get some serious toys now. And I wonder if anyone has seriously mapped the historical sightings against military activity on the plane. So yeah, that would be a really interesting project to do. I think though that the way that I'd be looking again would be that, high power radio signals into the ionosphere there. So that would be, you would need certain facilities. That isn't backpack or vehicle mounted. You would need like a proper large facility, especially at the time with the technology to do that. There may be other ways of doing it, but I've been trying to look around to see if there was any facility that we now know of publicly that could have been capable of doing it. But essentially we need like an earlier form of HARP. Catch you later, Raf. And it didn't smell like an old rag next to the sink there. No, I mean, I've heard this. And do you think that could be related to how they process their waste products there? Because we've heard some reports that they don't have an arsehole, basically, and they just go through the pores in their skin. Like a smell of gas. Exactly. Like that. I've heard lots of reports say similar things to that. Exactly, spinning around Mars. Exactly what you were saying there. Okay, yes, I did listen to the story. This was the woman that was living with the doctor woman that disappeared. Was it? What was the call that I think? Oh, she may have been a vampire, or that there was something like she might have been, the kid itself might have been part of this, because it's saying, wasn't it, that she shouldn't do any testing or something. It was interesting. And I heard that was responsible for deaths of those who made physical contact there, literally poisoned him. Yeah, I've heard, the old Virginia incident talks a lot like that there. My ADHD is on the highest setting today there, and I do apologise because it doesn't mesh well with the illness brain. No, it's fine, Kate. You can pick up the slack I'm leaving, it's fine. And true, spinning around Mars. I heard that too in a speech with Bob Lazar and Art Bell. It's also on site, more dangerous. I know the feeling there this weekend, actually all week. It's been a weird one. In fact, I don't know if this is a Mercury and micro sort of thing, guys, but like all of my other during the week, I've been really productive and great, and my sleep had been really good. It's literally just this the cold that's holding me back, although I'm starting to dip again now, so I thought I'm going to come off the wagon. Was there a planetary alignment responsible for that, and I'm not better? And why would our technology pick up alien signals? Nipper there, good question. So, probably not a lot of them is the answer to that. So, its distance is the requirement. So, what signals are going to reach us here on Earth? Well, it's not going to be their television, it's not going to be their radio. Same as ours going out there. It's very, very low powered, won't travel very far and still be audible. We're listening out for a very particular type of signal, which is a civilization purposely sending a hello, is anybody else out there message, high powered radio transmission there that they want other people to hear out there. That's like that sort of signal is what we are looking for today, and at which point they would make it more easily accessible. And we apparently have had some very interesting signals like that in the past. You finished the first draft. Oh my god, that's a milestone, Kate. Well done. Second complete one there, unfortunately, number 6 in the series. 8. Well, at some point they're all going to get done. Interstellar is a hell of a movie there, and how accurate do you think it is there? Oh, good question. I don't know. I am not big-brained enough to know, but I think anything that we're doing as humans is probably going to be single-digit percentage of accurate. Just, are we able to perceive all of this sort of stuff? We're making predictions based on where we are. It's probably always going to be limited, but it doesn't mean it doesn't have value. It doesn't mean they've not got a few parts of it right. With the time difference on another planet. I think, yes, it's functional, basically. It's a good little representation of it. I think there are quirks to it, but mostly speaking, is a good way to visualize it there. And natural cosmic radio sources emit unpolarized or circularly polarized waves randomly there. If a transit signal shows strict linear polarization there, like human FM or satellite TV. There we go, that Kui never seen. Perfect. Right. Interesting, Lethal. We're going to add that one to our list of little things there. Thank you for that there. And does that guarantee it's artificial or can actually space passive? So it doesn't guarantee it 100%. So we can't ever write off, can we, that an organic source couldn't be somehow responsible for it. But I think it gets to a level of plausibility of how complex it is there. Yeah, I get the signals, but who says they work on that signal? So it's a good question. So the reason they think this channel right here, because it's all about frequency. Which channel are you on the dial there, and are you even on radio? There's plenty of other ways to communicate. Well, the reason we think that they would choose radio is because it's quite a low technological communication method. It's going to have the most people will have access to it, but also as you advance as a species, you're likely to still at least monitor in radio, even if you don't use it for your own communication, because it's so useful for telling you about what's going on in nature, because nature's language of the universe is radio. You're always going to be having an eye and an ear out for that. So we do think if you want a message to be heard, if you're saying hello, is anybody else out there, the most likely place, the most likely medium to do that would be radio. The frequencies of the channel on the dial, of all the different frequencies, why would they be down here? Why would they be on the hydrogen line? Well, because, again, it is so useful for learning about the universe. It is the frequency that hydrogen naturally emits a signal as it decays, and because that's the most abundant element in the universe, it gives scientists a baseline, so they're always monitoring it. So of all of the channels, this is where they think it would be most likely to do it there. And they could use light to communicate. They definitely could. We use light, but also there has been a really, really interesting paper that was done quite recently by a chap was doing his dissertation. He had exactly the same idea, and he said, well, I think that if there's an advanced civilization out there, they would probably have a galactic internet that'd share this information through a node-based network, probably use light as because exactly how Starlink satellites that we see flying over, they use lasers to communicate between themselves because it's very, very fast. And he said, I think they'll do that. And his dissertation was, if there is a galactic internet, I would expect to see lasers being shone around the universe. And he got a load of telescope data, some other stuff. Scientists were looking for other things. He just got it and went for it all. Went, shit, it looks like I picked out. He said, looks like he's over 100 individual signals that look to be laser light being shot at us. So that's very interesting because lasers are very difficult for nature to produce something similar that looks similar to us, and B, it's directional. So if they're shining a laser at us, it means they know we're here. So that's a very good case. But again, because we're listening out for this very particular type, the hello isn't about the message, that is the, laser and light technology is a higher band. So they don't think that the hello, they think that would probably be more their internal communication, ET talking to ET and stuff, at which point they may use anything for that. They might use telepathy, might use a quantum property for it as well. And maybe it's source we can't even notice exactly. Maybe it's some technology we haven't even discovered yet. But again, if you want to have the most ears possible hear your message, again, that very purposeful hellos and out the message, you want to do it in the most accessible technology, don't you there? And Stephen there, August 4th 1990 there, near a glen close to Calvin and Pitlochry in the Scottish Highlands there, the encounter that involved 2 hotel workers. Do you know about the story, and if so, what's your opinion? The Calvine photo, very, very cool. Calvine is on our UFO hotspot tour, trying to find roughly that sort of area. We do our UFO skywatch from there. So this is the one, guys, you've probably seen. It's a fantastic one, fantastic fantastic image. It's the Harrier fighter next to a very clear sort of diamond-shaped, solid, big craft, in the sky. A bit of the fence line in it, taken by I think 2 cooks, wasn't it? Worked at a local hotel, and yeah, there was a lot of hush around it there. They were told to keep quiet. The newspapers weren't allowed to report it. That's all officially recognised. So I find it incredibly interesting. I think there is a plausible explanation, like a normal one for it, but I'm not going to say that is definitely it. I'm just saying I'm interested I go, oh, that is a plausible mainstream explanation for it. And that one is because it looks cracking. It looks exactly like fucking hell. This is Close Encounters, lads. Like, do we need anything more? So until they can resolve this one for me, then, but the 2 parts is that, so there are things that are still top secret, so we don't have records of the publicly available, but radar reflected objects for training. There's large objects that will bounce radar off, and they can use them in dogfights and things like that. So there may be something about this particular type of one that was still top secret, maybe how they keep something that big up in the bloody air there, so that could be a bit of a reason for it. And the other clue that ties in with that is that the actual Harrier jet that is in the image with it, the fighter jet in the image, is not a Royal Air Force fighter jet. It's the manufacturers had 2 of these fighter jets that they had as test vehicles. So whenever they'd go, right, we're going to upgrade the seats, right, put the seats in the test vehicles, give it a fly, yeah, fine. All right, going to update the radar, right, let's swap the radar out, new one on this test one, fly it around, yeah, it's fine, let's go sell it. So this one was was one of the 2 test craft. So that kind of, for me, goes, oh, I can imagine testing with radar, you know, and that sort of thing. But it could be something like, you know, testing something with a reverse engineered craft or something. You know, you don't know. So I wouldn't write it off. I'm very, very interested in it. Either which way, to be honest. I love the idea that he looked at us from afar enough so the Roman Empire would still be around. We're going to go get a look at those lads. But technically, yeah, it would be true. I've got a half-cut humming there. Guidance. Catch there, Rip. By a 5 Street missile. Upgrade to Storm Shadow. Oh, half cut home into guidance. And spinning there, some of the skulls dug up in Mexico look just like Predator, and it made me think about all the movies from E.T. to Men in Black and all the sci-fi movies, really. How did all the directors come up with those stories? Well, this is something that's really, I do find quite interesting there. Rosetta, how are you doing? Thank you for the gift there. Good to see you, and hope you all are well. But we do theorise, don't we, that they use Hollywood and media to seed a little bit of the truth, because imagine the mothership appears over the city, full on, you know, it's in the news, everybody crumbles. Whereas if they can kind of let people know a little bit of what might be going on, then they can wrap their heads around it, because they've got the film as the metaphor. All they've got to say is E.T. ETs, E.T. aliens, or Predator aliens. You know this is a good day, this is a bad day, you know, like that. So maybe the part like that, but also the sort of the way sort of artists work is they're unconsciously seeing clues in the environment, and they're assembling those into a new thing. Same with scientists as well. You know, they like, that's a bit more literal scientists. They base their work on somebody else's work, on somebody else. They can cite the papers and that tree structure. You know, you need all the work done previously for them to be able to push it over the line. Similar with artists, and the more successful artists, that they really hit a sweet spot with the what's about to come up into people's consciousness versus, and how long that's going to be there. They're answering and asking those questions at the right sort of time. But some people can see many, many years into the future, which is why certain artists are just not taken, not interesting until a while later. They're seeing the connections, they're seeing the train coming. It's a really interesting phenomenon. So maybe something like that with the films as well. Maybe they're picking up on the clues in the environment. So maybe this is something that's going on, and they're assembling that as well. And TikTok Round Raiders, how are you doing? Walked alongside the red areas on the plains, and it was weird seeing all the signs telling us about danger. Yeah, there were cows behind the fences, happily grazing. The occasional cow. Dude love time out there. They do a bus trip from the town. You can get they have all the classic buses like the old Route Masters and all that sort of stuff. They park them down here by the train station. It's once a year. They'll take you onto the ranges to the Imber village, which was one of the villages that they kicked people out of during the Second World War to use for training, and then never let them back on. So it's this abandoned village from the Second World War. The military have been using for training ever since, but they bus you to it down the ranges. It's a nice little trip if you're ever in the area for that. Downgrade from the 60s and 70s. It was developed for the Lightning. Ooh, quite possible. And all I could think about was the deep dive about the grey aliens. Their diet, the copper-rich diet, they made people ill when they were too close. Yeah, that's exactly what. Every time it comes up, because that fits so well. Again, it's not that it's necessarily going to be directly poisonous to us there, but if it's a similar system to us, it's going to have that relation. But it might just be. The perfect case was the Virginia incident. Now, the autopsy studies have been released now of the military police officer that died, and the bacterial infection that he died of. It was not an alien strain. Sorry, it was a strain Oh, it was a bacteria that we know, but the strain itself, sorry, was one we'd never seen before, and like 12 steps ahead of where we'd expect. It was this incredibly weird, like, which again kind of fits with them being maybe us from the future, you know, a symbiotic relationship with their bacteria and stuff. Oh, that was it. The way the woman freaked out when her blood was taken, and the immediate presence of the MIB types. So yeah, exactly that. And it was also the what was it? The fact she had her curtains closed and stuff, that made me kind of think, oh, you know, found that there. Sounded like the Doctor was an alien. Ah, that could. Oh, the Mexican skulls are BS. I've heard about the bodies and stuff, and I know they do a lot of faking around there. But a lot of the elongated ones, they're true. And in fact, I didn't realise this because I thought the elongated skulls were just a sort of a South American phenomenon. But no, apparently they were very, very prevalent as well in North America too. But they just hide it. But they are. If you go back to the 1800s and stuff, they were getting a lot of these. And there's an international of these weird elongated skulls around the place. Bonus skull shape there. I think the comment went through like vampires of shapeshifter, but the stuff awkward thing. Yeah, definitely alien. Yes, I didn't. Why didn't I click? We do a UFO stream that didn't click for me at the time. Oh, it's odd, that one. If you look at us sensitives there, we tend to have numerous conditions. When we heal others, we take on the burden. No type of protection stops it. There's worry. Well, but maybe energy can only be transferred. This is what we know about the universe, isn't it? You know, it's one of the rules of physics. You know, energy can't be destroyed. It can only be transferred or conserved, as they would say. So maybe, you know, that process of healing, if it is energetic, as a lot of people talk there, it's got to go somewhere. So maybe that's why. But I don't know, could you get a dog that you don't like and transfer the energy into it straight after? And before that, they live, aliens are amongst us in the government. Oh, I haven't seen that they live yet. I think it's on our list to watch. But they could be. Could you guys are garlic. And could a modern radio arrays like a square cumulative array detect the wow signals as source if it happened today? Oh, I would imagine so, but I mean, I am quite ignorant around the specifics now because a lot of these newer telescopes are so technical and so fancy. I don't fully grasp the full of their capabilities. I'm much more confident in the 60s era when it was quite amateur in compared to the, you know, I like a nice simple one. So I would have thought so, but just on the gut feeling of new stuff, more advanced, more sensitive, you know. But I could be very, very wrong. There might be a ping around that. And was it the red top missile is upgraded as well, and that's why Guy's promoted as being good for you, and it's delicious. I don't think we're even ready to detect anything. Good one. I mean, maybe. I mean, from a technological point of view, we are barely just able to do it. Barely just. And that's why I don't think we've had that confirmation there. But are we ready to know it? I think we would be. Like, you know, if we got like a distant signal from aliens, you know, and go, this is a clearly technological signal and it consistently appears to be coming from this planet orbiting this star. I think we could accept that. I don't think there would be much of a consequence to society for that. There'd be a few red faces in science, but I don't think there's much of a consequence. But funnily enough, that could be the case from our closest neighbour, Proxima Centauri B. Interesting signals apparently coming from there. So wishful thinking, are we going to communicate on the same level? Oh, I definitely think that the getting a message is one thing. But having a complex conversation or, you know, communication is very, very unlikely. And if it is, it's a very long time, you know. Take a long time to figure it out. But, you know, a message in of itself can be a message. You know, you can still communicate in very basic ways. Lots of fakes being made there to dilute the real stuff. UNESCO are right behind it with the cartels. Definitely. Smoke signals to send to someone using a smartphone. Yeah, but a person with a smartphone, though, can still identify that there's a smoke signal, can't they? You know, they'll still see they're there. They probably wouldn't know that, you know, 2 rings mean yes or whatever the code was, but they can still go, that looks like directed smoke. Liberty's here, listening and editing videos. No worries, Liberty. And and the Mexican government prepared to turn a blind eye, but now they're Mr. Bonfire used 5G. That's good. Like a time machine to travel in. You said that last night. How does it work? Did Anne have a good birthday, that host in Ricardo Prezi? And what's the British Want the British remember you're working on a high source laser which could melt a pound coin from a satellite. So that's going to be the next generation proper Star Wars shit, isn't it? My birthday's in a few days. Oh, well, Saint, let us know if you're in. Hopefully you'll be out partying, but if you're in, let us know, remind us, and then we'll say happy birthday. And how are you, Rosette? Just getting your messages there. The middle turned a red dot. That means it's detecting something. So it's looking for something. It's analysing. It doesn't necessarily mean that it has got a reason. I did set it up to, but I'm not confident that it does it and it doesn't just do it randomly. I need to go back to it and check. But yeah, it's looking, when that box pops up there, it's looking to see if there is any signs that there is something within it there. Making midnight a Spanish tortilla. Excellent, Rosetta. I expect nothing less. And who thinks Free Atlas is being used as a long-range Terran fleet platform? I'm not. I was still with old Atlas. Again, a very anomalous object, but it was definitely doing things which I don't know what the technological explanation for them would have been there. And this is basically a SETI at home, yes, so it is essentially. Lots of you guys miss SETI at home. Hopefully they're bringing it back. They did say they might be bringing it back at app form. But it's kind of like that, but it's doing it in real time. So SETI at home was basically you were processing the data and sending it back. So you were just basically lending SETI to your computer. You didn't actually get to see anything on the screen like that other than chunks and things and a cool screensaver. You wouldn't have got the thing. But this is live, so it's kind of like that, but it's not the data. This is just the live signals coming in, but a very, very similar sort of thing. Many years ago, I'd done it many years ago with my Intel P4. It turned into a storage heater when I slept. Lots of people really miss it, and apparently they only just finished fully decoding that data literally a couple of months ago, at the beginning of the year. It took them 20 years, and they had 100-odd candidates out of it. In fact, even earlier on, one of them that did come up, so it could have been your computer doing the old SETI at home, did have a really interesting signal. But they actually filter out, take this guys, sit down, they filter out signals that are too good. If it looks too much like too strong, they go, oh, it's too strong, it's got to be Earth-based. No, not necessarily. You're now filtering out. So absolute fucking dickheads with their filtering. Just bias screams across it there. Shelley, how are we doing there? Could greys be naturally irradiated? Oh, maybe. I mean, if they spend a lot of time up there or near a source, maybe it's not so much of a problem from there. And Nipper, not at Twitch at the minute. We're off Twitch for the second. We're over on TikTok and YouTube at the minute. Hope they're called Galactica. And it was developed for the Lightning there. My father was RAF and worked in the missile servicing flight program, hence why I've got to the homing head. Oh, that is cool. Imagine how much that would have cost as well, the government at the time. Like, you probably could have bought a house for that. I saw somebody on TikTok had got a similar sort of homing head, with a camera that spins around from a missile, some sort of surplus deal. And he was here on TikTok, and he was like trying to get it working, and like he was logging into it to try and see if he could get the camera to work and the motion sensing. And then he realised that whatever it was technically illegal to do. He's allowed to own it but not operate it, so he had to give up on it. But I thought that was cool. It's a rave called Galactica, headlined by the Utah Saints. And I had a thought the other day. Has anyone compared the various indecipherable languages found for similarities? Oh, I don't know. It's a good one, actually, that one. I do wonder as well, because there is, the way you can trace language back through things, the same way that we do with genetics. Are there any outliers that we can't find the source for? Maybe we've picked up elsewhere there. Poor imaginary dog. Rosetta, I know, it's interesting. Think about using an X. Alan. And you'll have to let us know they're spinning around Mars as well when it's your time. The exact same signal fired off again there. How much more detail could next generation telescopes extract compared to the big ears limited? Oh, yeah, it would probably be night and day difference, I'd imagine. We'd have to wait 20 years for them to go through the data, but yeah, night and day there. Oh crap, I've just noticed the time, guys. I'm going to have to quickly skip ahead to the bottom of this chat because I need to get off because it's a work day tomorrow. But thank you everybody for joining us. You are absolutely awesome. Sorry we didn't actually catch up with the chat with you guys, so I'm just going to quickly spin to the bottom there. Sorry about that. But we do normally. So yeah, hopefully tomorrow night will be a Skywatch as well. Thank you all for hanging around with us, for sharing your knowledge and your theories and your accounts and stuff like that. Keeping us company as we're doing this search there. We do appreciate you all, and hopefully we'll see you all again tomorrow night there. Have you seen the Majestic 12 Alien Recovery Manual? Oh, Robert, I haven't yet. The Stargate High. I heard something about that, Robert. I want to hear more because that's right up my street. But we're doing Majestic 12 documents at the minute for our Patreon and members deep dives. We're still in the 40s, but we should get to that document very soon. So I think it's going to be really, really cool. But anyway, guys, night. Thank you again, being awesome. Make sure you follow and subscribe, get the notification. We go live tomorrow there. But yeah, see you all tomorrow night. Bye, guys.